Good evening everybody and welcome to round 3 of the GPVWC Formula Challenge. We're here today for the Austrian Grand Prix, and with me to call all the action is Mr. Lee Morris. Now Lee, we've seen two very thrilling opening rounds of the championship, and today we've got a very strange track for the drivers to encounter compared to the last two. What exactly can we expect today?
Yeah, Austria is a very strange track indeed. Good evening all. Thank you for tuning in firstly. Austria is a strange track. It's another unique circuit, not very technical, so it'll be interesting to see who has the best compromise between downforce and downforce and top speed.
Indeed, and also we've got a massive field today. If you haven't already seen, we've got close to 50 drivers competing tonight, so should be a very entertaining race weekend. And the man currently second that you're looking at now is your championship leader, Ari Niemanen. He's currently leading the championship from Emanuel Gaxella by just 1 point, so already this championship is very close. The next man in that championship is Ryan Gilmore. He sits in third place and is on a total of 58 points. So Gaxella and Niemanen looking to do battle once again here today. Niemanen at the moment looking very comfortable.
Yeah, he's got a good lead in the championship. He's fastest in this session so far. Not by much, it has to be said, from Yalti and like you say, Gaxella. I mean, the field we've got tonight is absolutely ridiculous as well. I've never seen so many cars in one server.
Yeah, and as you said, I mean, it's a very short lap round here as well, as you can see. I mean, it's an 18 lap race. The average time, roughly, you're looking at for an average mid-pack car is about 1 minute 23 to 1 minute 24, so very short laps in comparison to some of the other circuits we'll be visiting a bit later on in the year. So with a short circuit with close to 50 cars, surely that traffic's going to be a bit of an issue for the leaders today.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be an issue in this qualifying session as well. I mean, you look at Ari now going around the circuit, and also it has to be pointed out as well, Liam, this track is dry, and I think the lap times will be about 1:17s, 1:18s from what I've seen in the practice session so far. The track is drying out. I think it's wet in places. The guys are on dry tyres from what I can see there. I don't think anyone's on the wet tyre as such. So at the moment, I think it's going to be a bit like we saw at Malaysia last weekend. The last man round the last man round on the final few laps will be on pole position, because look at that. Hardwick's just gone fastest on 21.6, and he's now 4 tenths in front of David Fiddick. I'm sure he's returning from somewhere, because I haven't seen him for a while now. He was around last year, and a very good driver. Good to see him back anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So still 6 minutes left in this session, so a lot can change, and especially the weather. So you can see just a simple pit stop there for Nieminen as he gets ready to rejoin the action. And as you said, traffic's going to be an issue here, and especially when you leave that pit lane and you're not too sure how many cars are going to be coming down that straight, perhaps hindering your lap times. But right now it's not affecting Fiddick at all, is it? He's got a massive track space in front of him, no traffic for the foreseeable future, so he's just got a clear track, dry conditions, the right tyres, so hopefully those tents are just going to come chopping off the leaderboard.
Yeah, I hope tonight we see just a normal dry race, to be honest, because I'll be pretty honest. I mean, the R03 plug-in is great, and the actual wet weather we have is great. I mean, sometimes I don't enjoy it personally myself very much, but some people do. It's great to watch the racing last week, but I just like a normal race for once, because we seem to be having these wet races every week, and it's a bit unrealistic in that respect. So hopefully tonight we can just have, let's say, a normal race as Fiddick's off the track. He might still go fastest with it. I mean, there's cars off everywhere. You see, it's insane. He might still get close to the... no, he's lost too much time. He's eased off now completely, but Fiddick messes up in the final sector there and doesn't improve. Oscar Hardwick's still fastest on 21.6.
Yeah, Gilmore's just popped up there as well, up into P11, so the man who's third place in the championship for Simic, looking to maybe just try and push himself in towards that top 10. We still have 5 minutes left in the session, so a lot can change this evening. But obviously, with a track like this, as you said, it's not very technical, and it's got a very quick first corner, so start position could be quite crucial here.
Yep, certainly. I mean, especially if the weather changes, which, like I say, hopefully it won't. But you're watching on screen is Mr. Jacobs, who is currently fastest in Sector 1. Just scanning through the field as we go, Liam, trying to find people who are up on their lap times. I think someone else has just jumped up, actually. Not quite sure who. It might be Schneider, actually. There's cars improving everywhere now through Sector 1, so I think we'll keep an eye on Jacobs first, who seems to be... is he going to be faster through Sector 2? No, he's lost quite a lot of time through Sector 2. Half a second up in his own time, but 7 tenths off the ultimate lap time. And look at Oscar Hardwick. Wow, that's... I think the sectors are slightly messed up as well, to be honest, because I'm seeing very strange sector times coming out at the moment.
Yeah, the only way we'll get true representation of what's happened is at the end of the session, when we see who is on that first row of the grid. And right now, it looks like it's still going to be Oscar Hardwick. Fiddick's there in second. Nieminen's down to 7th already, so they can see Gagzella. This is the man you want to watch. 1 point off of Nieminen in the championship entering this round. He's 9 tenths up on Oscar Hardwick's time with 4 minutes left in the session. He could very well be an underdog. He wants that pole position. What we've seen from Gagzella as well, he's performed very strongly in the second races. So he's hoping to maybe just try and strengthen his first race as well. Start towards the front of the field, get a good result there, and then push his way through the field in the second race as well. And then there, you've effectively got a perfect weekend.
Yeah, I mean, he was unlucky last time, I thought, in some respects. He comes across land now, gets balked slightly, doesn't move to 7th position, but doesn't improve as much as he would have hoped, I don't think. Just looking down the field now, Hardwick's faster through Sector 1 quite substantially, if that sector time is true. And Westphal's just gone fastest than 21.6, that's why it's switched to him, because I meant to go to the P1 man, which was Hardwick. It's now Westphal, so the position is chopping and changing. As we expect with drying conditions, like I say, it's going to be a shootout for the pole position. Anyone could have it, basically. The person who's across the line last will take the pole position, I believe, because it's just going to be getting better and better all the time, the track.
Yeah, but is that going to be the case? I mean, as you said, track position's quite crucial here. We've got a massive field of cars, and if they all have that same mindset, they all want to be the last man over the line, then we're going to see a massive flock of cars perhaps trying to traffic their way around this circuit, stay out of trouble. And with so many cars going around such a fast circuit, surely you're going to see some an entertaining last stage of the qualifying. Let's see what Hardwick can do then. He's currently been knocked off his top spot. He's down now. Can he go up? Yes, he can. He's retaken that provisional pole position by 7/10 of a second, a 1:20.891. So Hardwick, sort of anything you can do, I can do better. He's currently taken that from Gilmore. So Gilmore, as we said, third in the championship, looking to start this weekend strong. And Gilmore's really impressed me over the first 2 rounds. He's been very consistent. And in this championship, that's what you need with such a shaken up second race.
And Gaxella goes fastest. He just crossed line there. We just got the last bit of the lap. He does go fastest. Didn't get baulked this time round, and does take the pole position back. So takes it away from Hardwick, who's just taken it. Obviously, the lap before, like you say, Gilmore up in third. So the usual suspects up front at the moment. The man he was improving through sector 2. Not quite sure. That was Westphal. He was improving through sector 1, but didn't hook up sector 2 there. Matt Clip comes across the line, goes into 7th position. So some good showings from people again. Schneider's down in 11th at the moment, obviously on the podium last time out. Just looking down the field to see if I can see any more improvements. Scroton in 15th position is about to jump up quite significantly if he gets this final sector correct. Coming through the final corner now. Hits the apex quite well, slightly wide. Oh, a bit of oversteer, and he's just about hit the wall there. So a lap ruin there. He might still improve his position actually. And yes, he does. He still improves his lap time despite that by a 10th of a second. So he's got potential to move up quite substantially there.
Yeah, especially into the final minute and a half or so now. So it's really now that the drivers need to get out on the circuit. You've got time for just about one more lap, depending in which section of the track you're on. So it's really do or die situation. So if Fiddick goes up to P9 behind Matt Clip there on a 1:21.890. Now you take a look at Schubert, who's currently up on the leader. This is what Lee was talking about. It really is last man across the line who could take pole position. So we could see a complete dark horse here. Schubert could be well in a shoe for that contendership. He's 53 seconds around this circuit at the moment. Goes a bit onto the grass there. Shouldn't affect his lap too much. We'll see confirmation of that when he crosses the sector. There's a car spinning in front of him, which isn't going to do his confidence any good until he avoids it completely. And he's 5/10 down in that second sector. So he still may improve his time, but he's not going to take pole position.
Yeah, Gaxella's though, he's done, he's in the pits, so he's made a little mistake there I think in some respects. Matt Klimt goes up to 5th as you see now. He's made a little bit of a mistake there unfortunately I think, because he can't get any more laps in now and someone could take this away. Hardwick's on a lap time in 2nd position and he's up through sector 1, he's up through sector 2 by nearly 4/10, but he's got traffic unfortunately. He's going to have to make this a do or die if he wants this pole position. Oh, look at all the traffic, look at it all, it's everywhere. This would be a miracle if this lap is still a pole position. Someone in the back there trying to take it. That was Khan, who got very out of shape there and nearly took the current 2nd place. Will he go into pole position? Yes, he does. He still takes it in the final sector. That was incredible considering all the traffic he had. Westphal goes to 3rd, 4th position because someone else has just jumped up. Who's that? Gilmore, I'm not quite sure who else. Schritter's gone 3rd now. Only a 10th off Hardwick's time. So the last few guys are coming across to start finish. Like Matt Clip in 7th position is on a very good lap. If he can just hold this through sector 2, he could also be a pole position contender. Just looking down now to see if anyone else is improving. All the other guys who've crossed the line a moment ago have now finished the lap. I think Clip's, yeah, he's packed in on this lap unfortunately. Just looking further down, Westphal's on a lap. Is that legitimate? Because some guys crossed the line. Schubert in 9th position, who was on a good lap a moment ago, is still 3/10 up here, and we saw how bad Hardwick's final sector was, so Schubert's got the potential to move up onto the front row here as he comes around the final corner. Gets a good exit there, no, not too sideways on the exit. This could move him up quite substantially if he's had a good final sector. 21, yes, he goes to 4th, brilliant lap, brilliant. So the guys can really... Fiddick is... no, they've all finished now, I think. I think all the guys have finished now. Westphal is off to pace in sector 2. Yeah, I think they're all done now. Liam, I'm just looking down the field. Obviously, I've got the benefit once again of seeing the whole field. Liam can only see what's on the screen, so I tend to see a bit more than him, unfortunately.
I can see Oscar still on the circuit there. Must be feeling elated inside that cockpit right now as he returns to pit lane. It was one hell of a lap, it's got to be said, as Lee said. In that final sector, there was just carnage going on all around, and there was cars in the middle of the track, cars spinning off in the gravel. Somehow kept the clear head, and in that situation, final stage of the qualifying, a pole position at stake, it's so hard to keep a clear head.
Yeah, I just got a message from Tuomas Coriala, who is a very quick guy, obviously, usually up there. He says he's, I can tell the audience he's down this far because of traffic. I'm just trying to look where he is, actually. He's in 38th position, and he's a guy who you would put up front. So the grid's set really, and that's an awesome session we had there. You know, really enjoyed the drying session there. I hope that hopefully the people at home did as well. There's quite a a mixed up grid in some respects. Keeney's just gone 4th. Keeney's just pulled up to 4th position. We didn't see that. He was on a lap there. Some guys were still finishing a lap there. It was really hard to tell. He was down in about 9th place. He pulled up to 4th position. So good lap from Keeney.
Then Keeney, of course, the race winner on his debut last time out. And there was some controversy surrounding himself and the team. I believe it's all been sorted out now. And he is still racing. He's got himself a new livery, as you can see. 4th position. He's still continuing strong. So we'll see how he can perform during the race for Sisu Grand Prix. So we're going to go to a quick warm-up session for the drivers to maybe cool down or warm up, depending on how they want to approach the race. And with a circuit like this, you know, they've just had a drying track. Would it be imperative for them now to maybe get some runs on a completely dry track, do you think? Or is it just nice to stay in the garage and cool down after what must have been a heated qualifying session?
Well, if it's dry, I'd want to get out there because the conditions are slightly different. I mean, I expected times faster than that, to be honest. I'm sure I saw faster times than that in practice for the Formula Challenge cars. But I don't think the track was at its fastest there, by any means. I'm not quite sure on that one. I could be wrong, but I'm sure I saw times in like the 19s at least, or the 18s earlier on, and that was from the two sister guys. They might have been in a different car or something. I'm not sure, but anyway, yeah. If it rains for the warm up, then they want to get out as well. So either way, and Schubert has just got up to 5th. Sorry, yeah, Sven Schubert's just redone the game, so he's in 5th position. So we should run down the grid, I guess, now, because this is probably going to take the entire warm-up session.
Okay, well, if you'd like to lead that charge, then again, unfortunately, I cannot see the full standings, so that would be absolutely fantastic.
Right, there's about 45, 46 cars to go for, I think, possibly more if they join, so you have to bear with me a second. It is Oscar Harwick who takes the pole position for the Backmarker Brigade. That's quite a good result considering the team's name, Backmarker Brigade. I believe that's Simon Smith's team, actually, who's obviously the lead commentator in Super League, so he'll be over the moon with that. Emmanuel Gexeller takes 2nd position on the grid, obviously one of our championship contenders. Jan Schwitter takes 3rd. That's a great result for him. He'll be over the moon with that, I would have thought. Not been up there too much this season. He's had some good results, but not been on the pace to that extent. Keeney 4th, and it's obviously we saw him last time out what he can do, so we know how quick he can be. Sven Schubert, great result for him. David Fiddick, great on his comeback, I think, to take 6th position. Ryan Gilmore 7th. Ari Nymanen is in 8th position, and once again I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, but I do apologise. Kevin Westphal takes 9th position for the Logic Razor Motorsports team. Matt Clipp for Royal Blue Racing rounds out the top 10. Then we have Dave Van Gils, Alvin Hermsley, Franz Schneider, a star last time out. Martin Palm, great result there for Martin, up in 14th position. Thomas Jacobs, 15th. Saw him featuring quite well up the field prominently in the session. Fell down to 15th, but still a good result considering how big the field is. Ed Williams, 16th position, great result for Ed there. Mike Scroton, also featured up the field earlier on, fell back down. We have Paul Joseph, another talented driver, down in 18th position. Riku Sarpilla started to get his act together last time out, to hopefully be having a stronger race than his qualifying, down in 19th position. Mikko Jakinen in 20th position. Matt Webb, Jack Nichols, Lewis Vidakind, I believe that is, Patrick Fogel, Menno Klont, Chris Williamson, Dave Simmons, William Niron, Nadir Khan and Danny Asprey. That rounds out the top 30. Then we have Mike Bell, Simon Smith. Yes, I believe it is his team because he's racing for them, Backmarker Brigade. So he's got 1 on pole, 1 in 31st. Not a bad job there from Simon Smith. Wupke Hilkstra, Adrian McNaughton, well down the field in 33rd position. Alex Rolls, 34th. John McLean. Thomas Coriala, who obviously complained about traffic. Chris Parr. Scott Sovig, very, very far down the field. Not sure if he did any laps actually. And Alejandro Fernandez, Ollie Woods. Then we have Tim Oliver Wagner, Lee Palmer, Jonathan Prevost, Jeremy Allen, Jarl Tien. Not quite sure if he's racing in this or not. We'll soon find out, I guess. He's in a car going around. Then Simon Mellish in 49th position. 49th position. That's insane.
A massive field as well. Can you just imagine how far back these guys are going to be gridding in just 7 minutes' time? It's going to be a momentous sight to behold when you see them going around the formation lap.
Yeah, I dread to think, and apologies that we're not actually watching any cars there as well. It took me that long to work out the entire grid. That was insane. I mean, I can't believe how many cars are in the grid. I mean, 49 cars. Well, I think it's about 46, 47 if you take us, the commentators out, and in fact there's more people joining now. That makes it 50 with Franz Schneider coming back in. So there's a couple of guys having a few disconnections actually. I hope they get it sorted because I think it's Schneider and Schubert who are both having disconnection issues at the moment, which would be a shame because they are really up there in the field and we saw how quick they were last time. Hoekstra's also complaining about crash to desktops at the moment. So at the moment, there's a few people having issues. Hopefully they'll get them sorted, because it'd be great to see, these guys. They're very talented guys up front racing.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the thing is as well, as we said before, the track's going to be very congested during the race. But the best part for me about this series is that the two-race format, you have a complete reverse grid the second race. So perhaps if a driver starts well or gets in a bit of trouble and doesn't quite go to plan, especially with a circuit, 49 cars driving around, they do have a chance to redeem themselves by starting right in front of the field the next time, which really does encourage some great driving from people who maybe catch a bit of bad luck, or guys who maybe are a bit slower and can still manage to take a victory, because it's going to be very interesting. I mean, the championship so far has been all about consistency. The guy leading it's not all about how many victories they've taken, but in fact about consistency. I mean, guys like Hoekstra, Adrian McNaughton, who are also in the top 5, they're there because they've been very consistent in the opening 2 rounds of the season. So if we see much of the same today, with a track this short and with a field this big, just look at them snaking around now, then it's going to be a really incredible race.
Yeah, I can imagine that after so many laps, they'll be basically first position on one part of the circuit and last position just in front of him, and just a train of cars in between, because the track's very small. You see cars struggling to find position, they're going off in the background. The track is very small. It's only a 1:20 lap, and that's not very long. If you put 4 or 5 seconds between every car, then you've got basically the entire track filled pretty much, well, easily. So it's going to be difficult for him to find position, and I'll tell you what is going to be interesting, and that's turn 1. I'm really not looking for. Well, I am from a spectator point of view looking forward to it, but from a driver's perspective, I really wouldn't be looking forward to turn 1 right now, especially if you're, say, 10th downwards, because it's going to be madness. It's going to be absolute madness.
Yeah, the thing is as well, it's a very odd corner, isn't it? If we just take a ride on ball, for instance, with Oscar Harbeck following a car in towards that first corner, and just take a look at the actual format of the way it forms. It comes into it now, it's such a short apex to catch, you're going to be so clean over it, and immediately launches you onto this long straight. So as soon as you get through that first corner, it's all well and good and just down to trying to slipstream the car in front of you down this long straight. But if it doesn't all go to plan, it's such a tight apex to get that I think we could see some inevitable contact a bit further down the field. Especially this corner here right well. And that's going to be very crucial, very much like turn 1, tight apex, a very much harsher braking point. And if all the field do swarm down into it, everyone's trying to hustle for positions, again, this opening lap could get a bit messy if drivers aren't paying full attention.
Yeah, I think it's guaranteed. We saw it in the first 2 races. There were huge pile-ups in the background, and I think it's pretty much guaranteed here, unfortunately. I don't think whatever they do, especially if there's any rain or anything, I think that's going to add to it. But you can see, actually, Harvey having a hard time here trying to pass. I'm not quite sure that is in front of him, actually. It's Ed Williams, actually, who's doing he got by him now, as you just see on board. And a bit of contact there as he goes through the corner, but he was struggling to get past. Ed Williams is doing a good job so far this race. He's really acquitted himself well. I can't remember if he raced in the last. There's that many drivers in this, it's just impossible to know what's going on. But like you say, Wupke Hoekstra in 4th position in the championship. I completely forgot about his strong race results he's had. And yes, like you say, consistency is getting him further up the field, let's say. We're on board with Oscar Harbeck now. I'm basically going to do a little on-board lap. I think we got most of it last time. Like you say, you need a good exit out of here, using a bit of the inside curb, not too much of the exit curb, because it can throw you offline. It's also quite slippy. Not much for the driver to do now. A long back straight. You can see we've pulled away from Ed Williams now quite substantially. So Harbeck does have the race pace as well by the looks of it. Keeney is currently fastest now. Hard braking into his right-hander. Got to use the curb on the inside. Not too much, not too little, but you can use all the exit curb there because it gives good traction for some reason compared to turn 1. All about getting the exits right here. If you get the exit wrong, then you're going to suffer all the way down these long straights. You see now, heading into the other hard braking zone. It's quite a lot of hard braking zones early on. This one's pretty difficult because it's downhill though. The other one's not too bad because it's uphill. The downhill ones make it easier to lock the brakes, so that corner's very difficult to get the braking correctly for. This one's a tricky corner because it basically invites you to take more corner speed. And then all of a sudden you end up running wide, just as Oscar did there, and exactly the same with this one. You can see once again the front washes out and he runs very wide, but you've got the curb on the exit to help you there. It also helps to stabilise the car on traction, that does. This hill's very bumpy. It bottoms the car out quite a lot there, so you end up losing a lot of top speed. Don't clip the curb too much on the inside, but also don't run too much on the outside. That was pretty much perfect there for Oscar, and the same in the final corner, not too much curb. Again, a perfect apex there, so a nice lap from Oscar there.
Yeah, and it's just such a great circuit as well, and such a great commentary on the lap as well. It's like making this a fortnightly segment now. It's a really insightful lap, and as well, just noticing that final couple corners, it's so tight to even try and navigate one car through. If you've got 2 or 3 cars fighting for position, potentially up to 3 wide in the first lap, things may get a little bit careful. Guys have to be so focused around this circuit the long back straights do offer a bit of time to maybe take a breather, you know, just take in where you are, look how hard you need to push, you look after the tyres, that sort of thing. That's when you try and go for the strategy, but the rest of the circuit, whilst it's not very technical, there's a lot of hard braking points that will punish you if you don't hit them correctly, and especially if you've got 5, 6, 7 other cars in front and behind you, you've got to be paying full attention the entire lap.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be a demanding race, like you say. I don't think it's the track that really takes you out of you. I think it's more the, like you say, the concentration of maybe having the other cars around you. Like I was just going to say as well, if anyone wants to get in touch with us, get us any questions in, anything like that, or anything you've seen and spotted that we haven't, please get in touch and let us know. We've had a message from Scott Woodwis, who's basically said it's amazing that such a series as Formula Challenge has a master grid size of the one you would usually see present at Le Mans. And I would totally agree with that. He says it's single seaters. The Formula Ford Festival sounds more relevant. So basically, we should be in Formula Fords apparently, because a grid this size is usually only seen at somewhere like Le Mans or GT racing, of endurance racing. There's almost 50 cars in here now. This is really impressive. So yeah, it's going to be difficult to concentrate in these races. Jeremy Allen goes second for Fogel Motorsport, and yeah, see, look at this. We're seeing 119s now in the warm-up, and I thought as much in qualifying that the track wasn't really its best, because all of a sudden we're going a second lap faster in the warm-up. So I think the race pace is going to be slightly faster than qualifying. And the Fogel Motorsport guys, you may recall seeing them. I'll put them on screen now. They have the Brawn livery, and they featured very prominently in last week's race, as Gaxella goes third.
They did indeed, again, a very consistent team, and in terms of the championship as well, they currently sit 5th position behind Optimum Motorsports. They're 20 points down on Optimum though, but in terms of the team championship, Storm are leading that one, Simink are there in 2nd, and then a bit further down you've got Optimum in 4th, Fogel in 5th. So Fogel, again, all about that consistency there, and they're looking to continue that today. Allen 2nd, and it seems that the last 2 tracks they've gone to, they've shown very nice pace, but it's not just one lap pace where I've seen a couple drivers, they can dominate qualifying, but over a long period of time they focus so hard on getting those aggressive quick laps in that they just burn the tyres out so quickly. Jeremy Allen is not one of those drivers. He's very consistent with the tyres, makes them do the right jobs at the right time, and that is what makes Fogel Motorsport such a dominant presence, I think, in Malaysia, and especially could be well here today.
Yeah, he was on a good lap there. I don't think he'll improve now. He might just... Yeah, he does actually. He does take the fastest time in warm-up, which is really incredible for him. He'll be over the moon with that, and obviously that gives him a positive frame of mind for the race. He made a big mistake in the final sector as well there, from what I saw. He ran very wide, lost the back end, so there was definitely another couple of tenths in that easily. So it's Jeremy Allen, fastest in warm-up so far. Keeney, Gaxella, Hardwick, Fiddick, Palm. Martin Palm up there in 6th place. He's in a good job. Did a decent qualifying as well. Correala showing that he did have better pace, up in 8th position. Obviously his qualifying position, he's well out of position. Jans Fitter and Mino Klont ran out the top 10, so a quite open warm-up session actually. Only 28 drivers set a lap time, and they were covered by 5.3 seconds, so they were definitely finding their feet. And like you say, Liam, earlier on, it was definitely worth getting out and getting to reacclimatise with the track, because it has changed quite a lot from qualifying.
Yeah, you can see it already. I mean, the track's still pretty humid, but it's definitely drying out. And I think the thing is as well, is that if all the drivers went out on the circuit, I think a few of them did play it safe, because if you go out and there's 40 other cars with the same mindset as you, and you get involved in a bit of contact, you're going to naturally get frustrated with the other driver, and you don't want that frustration to carry over into your race. You want a very clear mind for entering a race where you've got a grid this size, with a lap this quick as well. I mean, as we said before, it's a very special kind of race this with this sort of field. So you want the clearest mindset possible. And if you get frustrated in the warm-up session by either making mistakes yourself or being hit by others or maybe even making contact with others, then it's not going to do your race mindset any good.
Yeah, indeed. It's all about being a positive frame of mind here. I'm just trying to see what the best camera might be for turn 1 actually. I'm thinking that might be the best sort of camera for turn 1 to see all the action. A few guys having I think Jan Schritter unfortunately had a game crash once again. And oh no, Jeremy Allen's gone, Adrian McNaughton's gone. A couple of guys having a few game issues here. This isn't really fair on them. Hopefully they'll get that sorted. I'm not sure if they're going to have another restart here. But cars are coming onto the grid now. Simon Melovic has left the game, so we're having quite a few disconnections at this moment in time. I think they're struggling to cope with the immense grid size. But yeah, as I was going to say actually, you mentioned on the track temperature and ambient temperature, we're seeing incredibly low track temperatures and ambient temperatures at Austria. Obviously it's not the warmest place in the world at this point, at this moment in time. It is set in the Alps and that, I believe, the Austrian Alps, so it is quite a cold place, as Oscar Hardwick leads the grid away, but it is quite a cold place and the track temperatures are extremely low.
Indeed, so Oscar will be the first to experience that as he leads the field around this won't happen. It'll just be interesting for turn 1. This is what we're going to see during the race in just a few minutes' time. This long train of close to 50 cars approaching that corner. High speeds, high velocity, high tension. And hopefully they can all make it out in one piece. I think pit lane could be a very busy place to be in the opening stages of this race.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've lost about 6 or 7 cars at the start, which is really not fair, I don't think, on those drivers. I mean, there's nothing wrong, and they've got disconnection. Yeah, we're restarting the warm-up now, I thought so. I thought Dave would do that. Dave Casmith is our race director, and he's done the sensible decision there of restarting warm-up, because we lost about 6 or 7 cars. Yeah, we're doing a server reset, so we can carry on talking, I guess. I will just put the banner screen on a second. We can carry on talking about this, but yeah, they're doing a quick server reset because there's too many issues. Apparently some guys having issues, as we saw, about 6 or 7 cars left, unfortunately, which meant that some of the people that we saw qualify quite well didn't get to start the race. So a sensible decision there from the admin, and it looks like we're going to get a full grid this time. The guys are just resetting the server, Liam, so we'll just carry on talking for a bit.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Again, as you said, a very sensible decision there. And it can affect your mindset again if you are one of those drivers that do drop out and you qualify in a good position. Luckily, there is a restart, but again, it may not have been the end of the world for them if they didn't get in, because they would start right at the front of the field for the second race. So providing they kept it clean, then you never know what fortunes may entail. Everything happens for a reason, that kind of thing. But of course, a race driver wants to be in the race, so great decision there by the admin to restart this and get this all back underway very shortly. So I think while we've got some time, we'll just quickly go over the standings for you, or at least the top 10 or so at least. So it's still Nieminen leading this championship from Gagzella. 1 point separating them. Niemenen's on 76 points, Gagzella 75. Ryan Gilmore sits in 3rd position on 58, with Hoekstra sits in 4th on 32. Just behind him is Adrian McNaughton in front of Jarl Teyen. Mike Scroton's in P7 in front of Govan Keeney, who of course made that very impressive debut in the first race. Franz Schneider behind him in 9th position, and Paul Joseph rounds out the top 10 on 25 points. So below that, the next man to him is Patrick Fogel on 11 points. So as you can see, the teams just sort of dip down below. I think that may be an error. That could be 21 points as opposed to 11, because the guy behind him, who's Thomas Jacobs, is on 18. So that may need to get sorted out at some point. So Constructors is the same, so you've got Storm there in P1, Simic in 2nd, Kirala in P3, Optimum sit in 4th currently, Fogel in 5th, Royal Blue 6th, Waters in 7th, Cece, who are looking very strong, currently sit in 8th position with Squire, who are tied with them, and then Scroton sit in P9. So looking at the championship overall though, Lee, in the opening stage of this championship, of course, it's still 18 rounds, but it's looking very close early on. There hasn't been one kind of dominant presence throughout.
Yeah, I'm just getting used to the servers been back up now, so I'm just redoing that. But yeah, the league, it's been very open so far. I think the weather's played a lot to do with that. That's what I'm saying. I'd like to see a dry race. I would have liked to have seen a dry qualifying in some respects, because I think the grid was still mixed up because of the conditions. We saw the cars going a second a lap faster in warm-up, which wouldn't normally happen. So I would like to see a complete dry race, because so far I still don't think we've learnt who the fastest guy is. We've learnt who the most consistent is, and that's probably Ari Nieminen.
Yeah, indeed, we'll have to wait and see what he can do during the race very shortly. So we're just going to try and get this server back up all sorted for you, make sure all of the drivers are in the game, which is quite a hard task when you've got close to 50 of them, and keeping tabs, making sure they're all ready to start this race. And
I was
just
going to
take a look as well, just before we get into this race, we've still got plenty of coverage on GPVWC this week throughout for you. So we've got a couple of broadcasts this Thursday. So Lee, I mean, we've got the Super League, the Super Cup. I mean, what are your opinions on them? Obviously racing in the top division there, the track, the car. How is it feeling for you?
Well, I'm not going to my Super League at the moment, but I don't often see the Super Cup race. I usually watch it, well, live that is. I usually watch it afterwards, and that looks pretty good. I mean, the Malaysia race was pretty impressive. Again, the weather played the part in that. I'd like to see dry racing all week, to be honest, just to see what we still don't really know where everyone's at, to be honest, because of the dry racing. Sorry, the wet conditions we've had. And for the Thursday, I'm not very optimistic for my race, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, so going to be a very eventful week at GPVWC, and the thing is, as well as you said, it's all very well and very exciting for from a spectator's point of view to see these wet races with action and overtakes and pit stops trying to make sure you're on the right tyre, risky decisions at the start like we saw last time, but it doesn't really give you a true indication as to who's the fastest man, in the championship. What it does give an indication to is to who's perhaps some of the smartest drivers in the championship. So ones who are ready to make the right calls, take some big risks, hope they pay off, and also manage their tyres and even manage their race to an extent. How hard do you push, that sort of thing. In a dry race, it's a completely different ball game, and you really do start to see kind of over a period of time who really is the quickest driver, who's consistent, who's getting those top fives over and over again. And I think that's what leads me in there. We just want to see a nice dry race to get a clear indication of who can be leading this championship and even fighting for it by the end of this race.
Yeah, I think it'll be the names who featured quite prominently in the first two races. I don't think because it's wet they suddenly go slow. It's just I think they were slightly more mixed up, let's say. I don't think about Gaxella last race, for example, or was it one of the races in Melbourne, he got taken out at the start, things like that. You know, with the reverse grid, that's a possibility for everyone. So I don't think that was really the conditions. That's just the league. But we saw this last year in Formula Challenge. Actually, with the reverse grid, it did provide some very interesting racing. As you see, that's Neiman in there trying to practice his start. So obviously not too confident in his starts. He just needs another consistent weekend again, doesn't he? Make sure he gets a good result. I noticed these guys, you can use quite a lot of curb in turn one. I noticed in the faster cars, you can't really do that too much. Maybe the slower speed doesn't make the suspension react as fast or something like that. But in the faster cars, you can't really use the curb too much in turn one. So it's interesting to see what they can do.
Yeah, indeed it will. And again, you mentioned that all-important first corner. It's a relatively short run down to turn one as well. So these cars won't be carrying that much speed, meaning they can maybe take a bit more of the apex. But there is that nasty pit barrier just waiting for them if they decide to get a bit too greedy with the apex. We'll have to wait and see just who really does try for that more aggressive line. This is one man you may want to watch out for. Gavin Keeney made his debut last time out in Sepang. As we said, he took a victory, had a falling out with his team. We're not going to go too much into that one, but he's got himself a new team, so he remains in this championship. Maybe just looking to prove a lot of people wrong today, make himself a very much a top 5, top 10 contender. We all know his pace on one laps are very good. We'll have to wait and see how he can do during the race. But I mean, what were your opinions of him, Lee, after the first race he made in GPVWC?
I know he was quite upset after the race. Obviously, we're not touching too much on the issues that he had with the simming team, but I know he was quite upset. I did speak to him quite a lot in the week actually after the race. He's a nice bloke. I don't really know anything about his past or anything like that. I believe that's what caused the issues, or something to do with his past, maybe. Also, there's a big crash in turn one there. Look, cars everywhere, so that's not a good start. We're in the warm-up and they're already taking each other out in turn one. But yeah, he was a nice bloke and he was very quick. He was very sensible. Obviously, race 2 he didn't race because of the team issues. That's why he didn't actually take part. He didn't get taken out. He just simply wasn't allowed to race, apparently. So hopefully this week he'll get both races in, because we saw he featured quite prominently in the race 1.
Yeah, he did indeed. And all you've got to do to just see how well he's featured in this championship is take a look at the current standings. So as he said, we've already run through them before with the two guys at the front of the field. But Gavin Keeney sits 8th after only completing one race. He's got himself 23 points in this championship, so sitting in 8th position. He's looking very nicely at the moment. He's still around 50 points, 53 points away from current leader Ari Nieminen, but you know, it's a great start to say, you know, there's no better start to a championship than a victory. So he goes on the track down, so I believe we are moving to the race now. So 18 laps you can see at the top of your screen. Let's wait for the infamous words said by the R Factor game, and then we'll get ready for the cars to go on the grid again. And once again, Oscar Hartwick will lead the field around this Australian Grand Prix circuit for the formation lap. So there you can see the top 10 on your screen at the moment. So that's all been sorted now, and you can see a rough estimate of where maybe perhaps your favourite driver will be starting in this one. You can see Jack Nicholls there starting P18 after a very good qualifying session for him on his return to the series. Mike Bell 29th. So Optimum Motorsport again. I mean, we saw Valiant qualifying very strongly. We spoke to him last time at Malaysia, and he started a bit further down the field than he would have liked to. So starting a lot higher up, maybe something the team's focused on, and is trying to get that consistency there.
Yeah, ignore the lap times. Obviously, the lap times weren't representative because they were from the warm-up, because we didn't actually get the proper qualifying times in as such. Due to the server restart, but a few guys have had a few more issues, unfortunately. Not as many as last time. Unfortunately, Jan Schritter and Jeremy Allen, the two guys, well, one of the guys, in fact, two of the guys, actually, both were up there in the qualifying session, won't be taking part in this race, which is a big shame. Hopefully no one else will have any issues, but them two will not be starting race 1, just have disconnection issues, unfortunately. Shall we quickly run through the grid again?
Yeah, be my guest.
Okay, Oscar Hardwick starts from pole position. You're watching him on the screen now. Behind him is Emmanuel Gaxelis, and then Sven Schubert starting in a superb third position there for Antec Racing. David Fiddick, Ryan Gilmore, Ari Nijmegen, Kevin Westphal, Matt Klipp, Dave Van Gils and Calvin Hermsay. The grid has changed slightly actually due to the changes of cars leaving the server. So a lot of guys have found themselves higher up now. That's the top 10. Martin Palm starts 11th, Thomas Jacobs, Ed Williams up in 13th position. Oh no, Sven Schubert's just left the game as well. So that's our third position man gone. So that's another one of the guys we were looking forward to see doing well. Unfortunately not going to get a chance to show us what he can do. Paul Joseph Keeney, 14th. What's all that about? Why is he 14th? You have a grid penalty? Must have had a grid penalty there, Keeney, because he's down in 14th position. Riku Sarpella, Mikko Yakinen, Jack Nichols, Lewis Wiederkind, Mike Scroton, Simon Mellerich, Menno Klont, Chris Williamson, Matt Webb, Dave Simmons, Nadir Khan, Danny Asbury, Patrick Fogel, Mike Bell, Simon Smith, Wopke Hoekstra, that's the top 30. William Neron, Adrian McNaughton, Alex Rolls, John McLean, Thomas Coriala, Chris Parr, Scott Sovic, Alejandro Fernandez, Ollie Woods and Tim Oliver Wagner, that's the top 40. And then we have Lee Palmer and Jonathan Prevost. So only 42 cars starting, there were 50 a minute ago.
Well, 45 is still a very large number for a circuit of this size as well. You can just see them all now coming over the top of the hill. Hardwick coming in towards the final section of this circuit now in that backmarker brigade team, and they're looking very strong on it. As you said, a very ironic name considering his starting position as they come round that final corner and onto this straight. So now final move to the tyres, making sure those brakes and tyres are at the optimal temperatures for that all-important run down into the first corner.
Yeah, just quickly as well, the track is slightly damp I believe, so once again the RFE plugin throws us a wet race, which I must admit is getting kind of repetitive now. It'd be nice to see a dry track because it doesn't rain this much in real life, so why is it raining this every week in this game? Being quite vocal about that now because I'm not the biggest fan of it. So yeah, the grid lining up on a slightly damp track, Liam, on a very cold track as well at that.
Don't have to wait and see how these drivers handle the conditions. You can see just how many drivers are lined up on the grid. They go right round the final corner, and that is what is going to make this race so spectacular to watch. So hopefully my lungs make it through it, and I don't deafen you with some screaming. But we await then those 5 red lights. We've got 3, we've got 4. The tensions rise, a feed up the throttle, and the green lights are away at Austria. And Harvey gets a great start on the run down into turn 1. The field followed suit very nicely. He's got a great run actually, hasn't he? Pulling away from the rest of the field. It's only a short run, as we said though. Here comes that tight apex.
Huge pile-up in the background.
A bit wide there though. They've all been a bit wide as they rejoin the circuit, but it hasn't hustled him too badly, and he gets a nice gap. The rest of the field though still navigating their way through now, and hopefully avoiding the carnage.
Sorry, there was a huge pile up there in the background. I'm not quite sure how many cars are involved, but there's a lot of cars out on the main straight, and I think the reason they run wide into turn 1 is purely because of the wet conditions and or the wet drying conditions, let's say. Just trying to see what's happening in the background. I don't think anyone's oh wow, there's a lot of cars retired. There's 7 cars out, a lot of cars out on that one there.
Well, it's an accident to be perhaps expected with a field of this size, but one fact remains the same, is that Oscar, despite being a bit twitchy there, does still lead this race during the first half of that part, but he is still being pressured by the man in second position. We'll see what he can do in a few moments' time. With that backmarker brigade is not looking like a backmarker at all right now, so the rest of the field, as we say, just swarming behind, trying to get themselves into some sort of order, but Oscar and the rest of the pack are pulling away quite frantically from the midfield.
Yeah, there might be a restart. I'm not sure what the ruling is, but there's a lot of cars out. There's even more out now. There's at least 10 cars out, I think. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. The first lap now nearly is complete. The 2 Simics are very close together. Gilmore just behind his teammate Fiddick. But yeah, Hardwick and Gaxella pulling away very quickly. Neiman sat in a safe position at the moment in 5th position, maintaining his championship lead. As that is Gilmore trying to get past Fiddick. He can see the leaders getting away, and he wants a piece of the action.
He does indeed. 2 teammates as well are going to be very careful how they approach this, and very nicely done as well. He didn't want to see any inter-team wars, especially at this stage in the race with only 1 lap gone. As you can see the official standings down the left-hand side of your screen. Valiant making a great start there up into P8 at the moment. Here comes Neiman, then your championship leader, currently sits 5th position. Who's looking to try, oh what a great move there, one of the Civic drivers, that is Ryan Gilmore, he's just got past, and up to P4, thank you very much, says our championship leader, and this consistent run is looking to keep on improving right now.
Yeah, Gilmore I think tried to get past Fiddick again, or they were battling into turn 2. And he's very close there to hit in the back, had to get out the throttle there. And Neiman just took an opportunistic view of it and took the position, so very good driving there, very opportunistic driving from Neiman there, moves him up to 4th position. A few guys, yeah. I'm really surprised this race is still going. Actually, there's a lot of cars out at the back, so the field is very depleted now. I mean, we've only got 33 cars left, which sounds a lot, but we start with 50 nearly. So there's a lot of cars out in turn 1 there.
Yeah, we were expecting an incident, as we said, but maybe perhaps not of that stature. Now Nieminen finds himself in a simming sandwich. He wants to try and break that as soon as possible, but that move could have been vital. Of course, Gilmore sits third in the championship. He wants to try and overtake our championship leader, but already Oscar Hardwick over Gaxella has a 1.5 second gap, so he's already pulling away. He's set the fastest lap of the race, and then Gaxella, the man second in the champ. Oh, it's a sitting car off there.
Fiddick's off, that's David Fiddick. He's just spun into turn 1 to the track. I think he just got slightly on the white line there, and and there's a few guys chatting in the server actually asking about a restart, which I kind of have to agree with in some respects. I'm not quite sure why the race hasn't been restarted. I'm sure our race director's got a perfectly logical reason for that. But Ed Williams there struggling at the side of the track. You can see he's just spun coming out of turn 2. After a superb qualifying, he's gone backwards, unfortunately.
This is really going to benefit the guys who are still in this race. Again, it's all about consistency. You can see Jack Nichols there, 22nd. He's already, I think he's lost maybe around 6-7 positions from where he's qualified so far, but the rest of the field still in this race, which is what we like to see. We say there's been a lot of retirements, but we still have quite a big field despite being more spread out than we perhaps once thought. As you can see, once again, Gilmore going a bit wide, so this track may not be as dry as the drivers first anticipated.
Yeah, there's cars going off everywhere in the background as well. A few more cars had another accident there. So it's Oscar Hardwick leading. We'll go and switch to him because he's got no TV coverage and he's off wide there. Actually, that's very wide. You have to be careful there, Oscar. You don't be doing that too often, especially when it's wet. So Oscar Hardwick leads the way from Emmanuel Gaxella by 1.5 seconds. Harry Neiman up to 3rd position now because Gilmore's down to 4th. Kevin Vespal in 5th. Fiddick's having to pit. So I think Fiddick's lost his front wing possibly. He's coming into the pit lane. We'll see what happens to him. So he's in the pit lane, so that puts Vespal 5th. Dave van der Gil's up into 6th position, just defending from Jacobs actually. We'll look at that. Jacobs just behind him in 7th position, Thomas Jacobs. Martin Palm up into 8th position, Matt Clip 9th. David Fiddick now down to 10th position. Was that a drive-through for Fiddick? Possibly a drive-through there for Fiddick, because I don't think he's stopped. Danny Asprey in 12th position, Adrian McNaughton, Chris Williamson, John McLean, Tim Oliver Wagner, Matt Webb, Riku Sarpilla, Alex Rolls, Simon Smith, the top 20. Simon Smith's just spinning, and 2 guys are spinning in the final corner actually there. Jonathan Provost, Jack Nichols, Alejandro Fernandez, Mike Bell, Lewis Vederkind, Calvin Hermsay, Dave Simmons, Ollie Woods, Paul Joseph and Ed Williams. That's the top 31 at the moment, yet more retirements.
Yes, the attrition rate looking to be very high though. We're only 3 laps into this race and still Hardwick seems to be in a little sunset mode at the moment, isn't he? It's just all peace and daffodils and fairy music at the moment if you compare it to the carnage which has ensued just behind him. But for now, it's himself, as we said, an almighty gap. It's now 1.1, so it is coming off 0.4, I beg your pardon, as my timing glitched a little bit there, but a 1.4 second gap to Gaxella is still coming down compared to what it was at the end of the last lap. Here comes Neiman and now actually defending from Ryan Gilmore to his 3rd place. So 2nd and 3rd in the race are 1st and 2nd in the championship in reverse order. So Gilmore with a bit of a slide there out of the final corner. That's not going to hate him too much at all as he tries to catch onto a slipstream on the back of Neiman, and that's, as we said, not going to help him at all. The gaps come down dramatically. He tries to break a lot later into the first corner, but he can't really do much from that far back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the field now. The field spread's insane. I think we've been robbed slightly of a great race due to these wet conditions because, I mean, there's half the field out and the rest of it's just separated. There's hardly any battling on track apart from his great position for 2nd position now, whereas 3rd position, Gilmore gets it all wrong there. You see on the wet line, he just couldn't stop the car. So Neiman, once again, showing superb maturity, just kept his car on the dry line, knew that Gilmore would never be able to slow that car down. I mean, there was a slight bit of contact there, but he knew that Gilmore would never be able to stop on the inside like that. The track grip on the outside is less than on obviously the racing line, and it worked out perfectly because now he's got a gap and he's in 3rd position still. So and Gaxella's lost a lot of time this lap, I believe, or is he? Yeah, he has. Gaxella's lost a lot of time this lap in the traffic, so I think Gaxella's had a very poor lap here. He's about 4 or 5 seconds, maybe more now behind, and you can see the traffic getting on in the way there of our 3rd placeman champion leader. It's 5 seconds now the gap to the leader, so the traffic really costing Gaxella a lot there, unless he made a mistake, but there was a lot of traffic in between.
Yeah, I was going to say, the thing is now with this field being so spread out, is that traffic is going to be an issue. We've already seen, as you said, a lot of depletions from this race so far, and with the field being so spread out, pit lane's not only going to be very active, but they're going to join out, you know, in all different sorts of scenarios. So you could be trying to overtake one car and then just down the road out of nowhere, you're going to have to overtake another lap car. But all Neiman is trying to focus on is keeping that Simming Motorsports car just behind him, because right now Ryan Gilmore is giving everything he's got to get back past Ari Neiman. And he's going to look at the inside area. He's just right, tried it last time. He's going to have to break a bit later on. and he achieved it with that long straight to come down. It's a drag race into the corner. He breaks a bit later, and again Niemanen shuts the door on him, keeping his car on the line. Very mature driving, as we've said. He's not risking too much. He's not changing lines and ducking and diving. He's leaving Gilmore to do all the work.
Gilmore looks the faster car, doesn't he? I think Niemanen might be better off in some respects. If it starts battling like this all the time, Niemanen might be better off letting him go, because he's going to start costing them both time. And just behind him is Kevin Westphal in 5th position, actually. And last time round he lapped quite a bit faster, actually, a good half second faster. So these two need to be careful, especially Niemanen, that he doesn't end up losing too much time. Van Gils in 6th position, actually, doing a great job in 6th place. We quickly switched to him, getting rid of TV coverage. There he is for the Edonis engineering team in 6th position. There's a car rejoins there. Who's that? I think that's a back marker there. Mike Bell, I believe it is. So yeah, doing a great job in 6th position, hanging on to the leader's pace as well. In fact, lapping faster than this 3rd and 4th battle at the moment, which is still going on. We'll quickly skip past that. Gaxella takes some time out of the leader that time, and Gilmore's passed him on the straight. Now, can he get it done into the braking zone? We're on board with Ari Niemanen. We tried to go on the outside of the dry line
and hold on to it, and
he's just
about does it. Wow.
Great driving.
Really mature as well, respectful. They both gave each other enough room. There was no cutting off lanes there, so great driving. But here comes Gilmore once again on the attack. Looks to the inside. He's definitely picking up momentum, isn't he? Because he's all over the rear end of Niemanen now. And Niemanen's going to run wide on that wet line. Thank you very much, says Gilmore. And he reclaims that 3rd position.
Yeah, Gaxella is taking lap time out of the leader Hardwick. I'm not quite sure if it's traffic, and Gaxella just avoids a spinning Provost there. Lots of back markers spinning in this one, so they are causing issues as we thought. But yeah, Gilmore can get on his way now, possibly. He does have a very good pace by the looks of it. Not far off the leader's pace in clean air, I believe. And Gaxella taking yet more time out of and hits a wing. There's been a car off somewhere, and Gaxella's just hit a front wing. The leaders are just our 3rd position man, 3rd and 4th are just coming through here now. You can see there's wings in the track. I'm not quite sure if Gaxella got any damage from that, but he lost quite a bit of time in sector 2. So there was a couple of wings in the track. Not quite sure who that was. One of them was Lewis Vedekand. He had an accident somewhere.
You can see Oscar doing another fastest out there, but that gap now supply. I think Gaxella may have made a mistake. I mean, he was, as we said, 1.5 seconds away. Now 5.3, he's working even harder to chop that lead down, and that's why we're seeing these fastest laps out of nowhere. This is a bit further back. This is Jacobs trying to hold off the other Simic Motorsports driver right now, a Viddock, after what was seen to be a bit of an incident earlier, a bit of a mistake at turn 1. He went through the pit lane. He's now trying to drive a recovery race, essentially. We've still got 11 laps to go, and Jacobs, again, having to drive a very defensive race here.
Yeah, this is pretty much the closest train of cars at the moment. This is 8th, 9th, and I think Matt Clip's just in the background there with, and you can see just further down the track there, Clont and McNaughton also battling. So this is almost a 5-car battle. It will be now. There you go. They've latched on. So next a 5-car battle for 8th position, and it's Jacobs, Fiddick, Clip, Clont, and McNaughton. Fiddick looking like he's the most racy in this group, wanting to get on with it. Obviously after that problem he had early on, wanting to get back up with the leaders. Just going to keep an eye on the lap times this time round, actually, because Gilmore was looking pretty quick. Oh, and Gilmore's off the track. Gilmore's gone off as I speak about him. He's just gone off the track, and there he is in the background, spinning, spin, 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 and he's going to lose a whole shed load of positions. Vespar goes through to 4th position. Will Van der Gils get in? Van der Gils coming up the hill. That's Van der Gils just behind us, so he holds on to 5th position, Gilmore, but that was a costly error there, as once again Harvick sets the fastest lap. Gaxella just cannot match him.
No, a mighty 4/10 of a second lost that lap as well, so Gaxella's starting to lose time. He's in a bit of a twilight zone at the moment though. He's got himself 6 seconds to Ari Niemanen, and a further 6 seconds to our leader Hardwick as well, so 6 seconds either way. He's just got to keep himself contained, make sure he brings the car home, and he should be on for a very good second position. You can see the rest of the field is crossing the line now. Matt Clip in 12th position currently. Asprey's up to P13, and Danny Asprey, that's an almighty jump up the field for him to gain up to 13th. Did love himself a top 10, so very good driving there from Danny. We'll see what he can do during the remainder of this race. There's still battle going on here. This is Jacobs and Fiddock. Still Fiddock up the inside. He may have taken this one yes he has, forcing the other one onto the other line there, onto the slightly wetter line, slightly damper line. And this is just behind those guys as well. So battle starting to form all the way through the field. This is exactly what we were waiting for. Our spectators and commentators, side-by-side action once again here. All tucked away there. It's got to be careful. It's a very hard corner to overtake on. Lee mentioned earlier in qualifying the elevation change going downhill. The braking point's very hard, let alone when you're trying to overtake as well. So maybe sensible decision there.
Yeah, I tell you who is having an absolute nightmare, and that's Paul Joseph, who was very quick in round 1. He's down in 24th position. I've just seen him spinning off in the background again, unfortunately for him, so struggling in these conditions. I tell you one man who isn't struggling, and that's the man we're going to take a look at on screen now, if it will let me. No, it's not, because what the hell's going on here? This is insane. There's a crazy battle going on. This is McNaughton, Clont and Clip all together. The man I was going to mention was Martin Palm in 7th position, holding his own at the moment, 29 seconds off the lead, but in a great 7th position. So doing a great job as this battle rages on down the main straight, Liam.
Yeah, so really good stuff so far. Matt Clip at the tail end of this. We saw this very much in Malaysia, didn't we? 3 cars, I believe Matt Clip was involved in that one as well, so you can't get away from the spotlight, can he? As the rest of the field is trying to jostle their way round. Here comes, though, Matt Clip. They start to separate out now as Palm tries to pull away from these guys. And I wonder what's going to happen between them, because if they all seem to separate out after turn 1, they will try and catch each other. They break very late. Some go off their line. There's a slightly damper line going through turn 3. But Matt Clip now just trying to catch the rest of this pack. It's a very difficult chore to do. Take a look on board, of course, with McNaughton at the moment.
Gagsella's spun, and this is key, because there goes Niemanen through. That's for the champ. I was just about to say, Gagsella's having a great race, and he's going to take the championship lead, but Gagsella just spins in the same place Gilmore did. Sorry to interrupt, Liam, but Niemanen goes through into 2nd position, and this is key, because this gives Niemanen the championship advantage back. This is going to be a great battle now.
Oh, it does, and this is exactly what we were waiting for. The 2 championship contenders put together. 1 point separates them. They're now 2nd and 3rd in the race, and not only that, if they finish here, they'll be starting right at the back of the field, roughly 48 to 49 places back. So this is going to be a very interesting 8 laps or so that we've got left here at the Australian Grand Prix. Of course, this is only the first race, but Gagsella's going to be driving a recovery race here, and this is where boys turn into men, essentially. How well can you drive now? Because you kind of flick the switch, don't you? I'm sure you've been in this scenario a few times. You make a mistake, you try to recover, and you drive the race of a lifetime. You give it everything you've got, and you suddenly delve into this other mode almost. Like you switch into this completely different driver, where you just start setting fastest sector after sector after sector, and just trying to get that place back.
Some guys complaining about the fact that this race wasn't restarted when there was more than 10 cars out at the start of lap 1. I kind of have to agree with him, actually, because half the field was wiped out in an accident. Maybe it's a way of punishing the drivers, but one of the guys that did suffer in that was Keeney. Obviously one of the guys we were looking forward to see coming through the field and doing well. He got wiped out in turn 1, and he's really not happy at what's happened so far in this race, because he was taken out on lap 1, and he said it's pure luck if you get through it or not. So he's not happy that the fact that the rules weren't followed according to the rules. It's 10 cars and we get a restart, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Oh, sorry, 5 cars I thought it was, but maybe it's changed. I haven't read the rule package lately, which I should have done. But I was going to say actually as well, Felix just gone past Palm into 7th position. There was also another point of interest I was trying to look at, but I can't remember what I was going to say now. It was obviously Niemanen now going to have to get defensive from Gagsella. Gagsella's right on the back of him, as you see, coming down into turn 2, and Niemanen doesn't defend. Niemanen leaves the inside line for Gagsella, but breaks very late. He's going to run wide there, surely. Yeah, Gagsella takes the position easy. So the first mistake from Niemanen there, under pressure. Yeah, and Gagsella says thank you very much. That's one half of the task done, but he's now a mighty 14 seconds away from our race leader, Oscar Hardwick. And we haven't really spoken about, that much about Oscar since his departure from the rest of the field, but 14 seconds clear, partly due to other drivers' incidents in his own personal race, but he's led this race from pole position. He's set numerous fastest lap times. Oscar's looking very comfortable in the lead right now. He is indeed. He's just doing his own thing, not made one mistake so far. He keeps setting fastest lap after fastest lap as the back marker gets out of the way there. Keeps setting fastest lap after fastest lap. Will this be another one of them as he crosses the line? He's no need to do this anymore. He was a tenth slower than his fastest lap, so he's still, still pushing very hard. And I'll tell you one man who is going very well actually. That's Kevin Westphal in 4th position. There he is. We're looking at him now on screen. Someone gets out of the way there using the gravel. And just in front of him is Ari Niemanen. So Westphal has been lapping significantly faster than Niemanen at times. This time round Niemanen does a 25.3. Niemanen had a very slow lap there actually. So a very, very slow lap. Not quite sure why. Obviously, he went off the track, didn't he, trying to defend, fair enough. And Westphal did a 22.3, so nearly 3 seconds out of him. He's only 2 seconds behind, so Westphal suddenly getting a sniff of a podium here. Yeah, and you do begin to get that sense of motivation, don't you? When you see that car was previously maybe 10, 11 seconds in front, make a mistake, that's going to stick in his mind, of course. But when you just start reeling him in now, just doing 10 after 10 after 10, and you start gaining on him, it really can motivate a driver so much. You take a look at Van der Gils at the moment, he's looking very strong, isn't he? Up into the top 5 almost there, just trying to defend and hold his position.
But it's very interesting that the top 13 still, I mean, separated by a massive 45 seconds there, so a long way back. And we expected it to be much closer, a lot of that due to the first lap incident that we didn't quite capture on camera, but I'm sure the side effects have been shown throughout this broadcast. But it has enabled a lot of drivers who maybe wouldn't have a sniff of the top 10 normally to really get themselves in there amongst the action.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure I agree with the, let's say, the positions, because I don't know, it just seems a bit flat, because I really thought it would have been a close race, and it looked like it was going to be a close race. And I think the conditions have played their part, and now we've got a very strung out race. We've had a few nice battles. Gexeller and Neiman have entertained us. I think Van der Gils is doing a great job actually in 6th position. I keep calling him Van der, it's actually just Van Gils. He's doing a great job in 6th position. He's chasing down Gilmore, who's still in 5th position. And he's trying to regain lost time actually, and Gilmore could still get Westphal back here as well. Westphal last time round did a 21.7, Neiman 21.8, so Westphal's still catching. He's only 1.3 behind now. In fact, you can see Neiman very closely, so Neiman's going to be careful not to lose out on the podium here. Martin Palm still in 8th position, Jacobs 9th, and McNaughton 10th. Them three actually have all sort of split up now, so there's no battling going on there. McNaughton's just closing to the back of Jacobs, but nothing drastic happening yet.
Yeah, this is going to be very entertaining, so we could potentially see a three-way battle for the final podium in that final 5 laps or so. So it's going to get very exciting between those guys, depending on how much they're willing. And talking of pushing, just as I was going to say, how much they're willing to push. Oscar Hardwick doesn't need to be pushing that hard, but still, a 1 minute 20.299, another fastest lap. That's 2 laps in a row that's happened now, and he just keeps on improving. I mean, he doesn't need to be pushing that hard, just try and bring that car home. 2.5 seconds a gap currently between Gilmore and Van Gils. I wonder if Van Gils has got enough left to try and push on and get that potential podium position if he can catch Gilmore and then Westphal.
I don't know if he'll get Neiman and Westphal. It depends if they start battling, because Westphal has just had a great lap and Westphal's just done a 21 flat.
Wow.
Which is very quick compared to Neiman, who did a 21.9. So a 1 second, you see it on the screen now. Neiman in 3rd position. He was the championship leader as the race stands at the moment. He's not the championship leader because Gexeller, there he is, just in front of him, will take the championship lead after this result if it stands away. But we've already seen Gexeller make a mistake. Could happen again as the track continues to dry. Hardwick also, you never know what's going to happen to him. He's pushing on very hard up front, and we've seen what happened to Kenya last week when he made the mistake and lost his front wing. It was very lucky in some ways not to lose the lead of that race. If there had been a few more laps left, he would have done. So Westphal closing up on Neiman, and Gilmore in the background is lapping fast as well. He's done a 20.9 last time round, so Gilmore's lapping fast as well as the fuel comes down. Van Gils was only 21.9, 22.0, so I don't think he's quite got the pace of these guys in front of him, but he'll be very happy with 6th position. But he's got to keep pushing, because just behind him, David Fiddick is doing 20.6s, so he's taking a good chunk of time out of him as well. So there's a few battles warming up here.
Yeah, and the best thing about this is that despite only got 3 laps remaining, we've got a complete reverse grid for you in just a few moments' time. So that's really going to throw up possibly the most exciting action that we've seen all weekend here, and hopefully a lot more of the field make it through that first corner. You can see Gilmore and Westphal getting a bit more closer together now. But you take a look at Jacob still trying to hold on to his 9th position. He's been constantly under pressure all afternoon, hasn't he, from Adrian McNaughton, who's just rounding out the top 10 currently. And then you've got the man in P11 who we said maybe with a chance, and that could be Matt Clip depending on where he is. I think he's down in, yeah, he is P11. I thought he was 12th, but he's obviously got through. So Clip's made the move, he's into P11, he's 4 seconds away, and he's still got potential there to maybe, if things play into his hands, get a top 10. But there's no looking like it's going to be an inevitable change in track conditions, so hopefully it stays the same in this final stint. As you said, it's a very cold track, stable weather. But Oscar Hardwick, 19 seconds now to Gexeller. It's looking very strong for him. I don't put a commentator's curse on it, but he's looking like he's going to go all the way here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I had another sprinkling of rain, but the track seems slightly wetter. Maybe it's just off the line. 3rd and 4th seem to have split up a little bit this time around. Westphal can't seem to do any more at the moment. He can't close in much more. Gilmore is still closing on both of them, but not fast enough to be able to do anything in the last 2 laps, which is we're now on the penultimate lap. Hardwick's crossed the line. Van Gils is coming under pressure now in 6th position, and that was a battle warming up there. Oh, that was just about Marker, sorry. Van Gils is under pressure now from Fiddick. Fiddick there is just in the background, and he will probably have him this lap actually at the pace he's been going. Van Gils has dropped off the pace slightly. He did his best lap that time round, but it's still a good second or so slower And the man chasing him down is, yeah, look at that, Fiddick sets the fastest lap, so he is going extremely fast, is Fiddick, and it just shows what he could have done in this race if he hadn't have had the earlier issues.
Yeah, and you never know, we're trying to recuperate for that and make up for lost time during race 2, but for now, Gilmore just looking to maybe fancy chances as his teammate Fiddick tries to get past Van Gils, and Van Gils as well, been impressive all afternoon. He's spoken very highly of him so far, about to have that snatched away from a hard charging Fiddick, who, as we've said before, made that mistake early on, been trying to drive a recovery race, got himself into P7. The chance here for P6 if he can just try and find a manoeuvre in these final couple of laps. He got very close coming down the hill there. He's now on the outside line. They try and get themselves past the back marker. Will he move to the inside? No, he's got to be very careful here though. As you can see, Hardwick crosses the line. So you've only got one more lap to go here in the first race. So it's kind of do or die now, but you know, so many drivers get in this situation of how much you're willing to risk on the final lap. It's, you know, do you hold on your position and play safe and maintain the gap, or do you go for it? Right now, Fiddick looks like he's going to go for it. Fancy his chances there, but he could not quite get that momentum going. Gil's driving a very good defensive line in the final stint of this race.
Yeah, he's got a great way out the final turn though, and he's probably going to have a look into turn 1. He's better on the braking from what I saw last time, but Van Gils wants this 6th position, but he also wants to finish the race. And look at the top speed actually Van Gils has got. Fiddick got a much better run out of turn 1 there. Can't do anything about it, unfortunately. McNaughton and Jacobs are going at hell for leather for 9th and 10th position, but we'll stick with this battle for the current 5th and 6th position. 6th and 7th position. Van Gils on the outside, Fiddick on the inside. He didn't brake very late last time, Fiddick, but he tries it this time. Oh, very late braking there from Van Gils. Very good dredger, but he runs too wide on the exit, and that lets Fiddick through. So that, I think that's game set match now, unless Fiddick's got he's got slightly less top speed as we saw a minute ago. So we're going to have to keep an eye on Hardwick, who's coming around the final corner, unfortunately, as well, though.
There he comes then, the man who took pole position in the ironically named backmarker brigade. Oscar Hardwick wins the first race here in Austria for the Formula Challenge and sets the fastest lap of sub 1 minute 20 at 1:19.925. Fastest lap of the race, pole position and a victory. He's taken the triple here. He'll be looking to try and achieve a much better result, well not better result, but maybe even take another win in the second race, but Connor be starting right at the back of the field. Here comes Gagzella then across the line, and he will now take the lead in this championship. There is Ari Nieminen, who will go down to 2nd in the championship, but a very well for 3rd position. They can see the rest of the guys crossing the line. There is Ryan Gilmore. There comes the other Semi Motorsports driver and Van Gils. So I believe, he, of course, after surrendering that position, that Fiddick was able to get through in the end of the day. But what a race we saw there so far. Despite the field being almost slashed in half, we still saw a lot of fantastic action for what it was worth.
Yeah, the last few guys coming in now, they're all pretty well split up. There's a big... Oh, they've already finished the race, that's fair enough. Yeah, Neiman only 1.1 seconds in the end in front of Westphal, so Westphal hunted him down, didn't have enough just to get there on the end, unfortunately, but Neiman, good job to hold him to a podium place there in a tough race. But yeah, Oscar Hardwick, faultless. Completely faultless.
Yeah, Oscar, of course, a very well-known figure among the sim racing community, driving everything from endurance racing to NASCAR racing, all the way now into these Formula Challenge cars, and he's really stamped his mark, hasn't he? Taking a win here for the backmarker brigade. I'm sure Simon may be considering a name change after that one. That was a splendid victory for him. As they can see the DNFs at the bottom of your screen now, the guys who got taken out or disconnected within the first couple of corners and lap or so. But one driver who's impressed me there was Kevin Westphal, driven a very good race to get himself into the top 5.
Yeah, there's still a lot of discussion about the fact that the race should have been restarted, possibly. I'm going to side with the fact that I think it should have been restarted, but that's down to the admin. That's not down to me. I think it would have been better for a restart, possibly. But then again, I think it would have been better without the rain. The rain, it was a good race, but it ruined it for me. That rain, the jam track, because it just splits the field so much. And as we saw, there was not much overtaking chance because it was dry. It was wet off the line, so you couldn't really have a go. So I think we were robbed slightly of a great race. Hopefully the race still be dry.
Well, fingers crossed in that aspect then, as the rest of the field return to the pit lane to end the first race. I'm sure the team atmosphere around Backmarker Brigade right now will be absolutely buzzing in the garage. I'm sure Simon may be getting a few alcoholic beverages to calm the nerves for the next race. And you know, there is no qualifying session now, so we'll go to a quick banner break, if you will. But you know, just a quick thought suddenly on the first race. Were there any drivers that particularly stood out for you during that one? Okay, so we're just trying to rejoin the server now and get all these grids sorted for what's going to be a surely exciting second race indeed. So you can see the official confirmation of who's going to start where. Just wait for the grid to get sorted out and make sure that everyone's in their correct positions. And everyone just calm before the race, you know, and a few of these drivers will be a bit annoyed, maybe guys such as Govin Keeney, who apparently was voicing his concerns about the restart matter. But now he starts right at the front of the field, and it's important to go into this with a clear head. You cannot let that first race linger over you, especially if you crashed out or got taken out. All that anger, the emotion, everything like that, you have to kind of let it go, get yourself in a clear mindset, and get ready to try and drive the best 18 laps you can around this Austrian circuit.
Yeah, I am back now. Sorry about that. Just had a few issues to sort out there. Just to remind people that it's only the first 15 that get the first 15 that actually get reversed. So it's not the whole field as such.
Yeah, well there we go then. So it still means that Gaxella will start 15th, and then Hardwick there apparently starts in P17, so just outside there. Right in the middle of the field, a very unfortunate place to start. You'd rather start either right at the back or right at the front, but you can't get what you're given. I'm sure he won't be complaining after the result he achieved in the first race. And I believe you've actually got Oscar with us for a few minutes. So Oscar, are you there?
Yes, I am.
So Oscar, I mean, first of all, congratulations. You know, your team name's Backmarker Brigade. You've come out, taken a pole position, the fastest lap, and a victory. What are your emotions right now?
I'm not 100% sure because I didn't expect for any of that to happen. I mean, in the first sector in qualifying, I was 4/10ths down every single lap. I'm running much higher downforce than everyone else, but it worked perfectly with the damp conditions, and I was concerned that as the dry line did get dry that I was going to come under pressure, but like obviously just the smallest wheel you put off with low wings and you're going to be in big bother, but the car was great, and actually the traffic was great as well. Everything was good about that race.
Yeah, all the seemed to fall into place very nicely, and your pace was just unmatched. I mean, it was fastest lap after fastest lap. I think Gaxella and Neiman both had small incidents which aided you, but all in all, it must have been a fantastic race for the team. Looking on to the second race then, you start in P17, so right in the middle of the field. You've got a very tricky first corner. What are your thoughts going into that one? How are you going to approach it?
Slowly, because the chances of an incident happening in front of me that far back are quite high, and I had a good start as well with the high downforce. And I think if I'm 17th, then I'm going to be on the dry side of the grid should it be damp again. So fingers crossed I can just be cautious and avoid anything that does go on, and then I'll just pick my way back through. I'm not expecting anything massive from this race. There are some very, very fast guys who did get unlucky there and are going to be starting at the front. So I'll just do my best and try and keep out of trouble, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Okay, brilliant. And one final thing as well then, just before we let you go back to your warm-up. Obviously, team owner Simon Smith, have you had a chance to speak to him since your victory? I mean, what must he be feeling right now?
Yeah, I just spoke to him, and I think we're as surprised as each other. Backmarker Brigade does have an illustrious history of not always being at the front, and I genuinely did not expect to be at the front today. I know there are guys that are quicker than me over one lap, but it's a lovely feeling, and we're both really, really chuffed that it's gone so well in the first race, where both of us are driving under the team name.
Okay, well, fantastic result for you. Lee, have you got any questions for our race winner?
No, just big well done, big pat on the back for that. It was a very impressive drive.
Yeah, slightly better than Malaysia.
Well done, Oscar.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, Lee, we'll let you go to rejoin your little warm-up session now and get yourself in the zone for the second race. So thanks for your time and best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so take a look at what there you can see. Currently, Hermse is the fastest man on the circuit. It's a spinner at turn 1. That's not going to help him too much. Just gets out of the way in time. So 6 minutes left of this warm-up session. And especially in this session, I can find this being maybe a little bit more important for drivers that maybe got taken out during that first race, because you get a tendency to go and, cool yourself down a bit after you just get taken out. You're all over the place emotionally wise. You want to try and get back in there, and you're all heated and a lot of angst, maybe just trying to push your car as far as it can to make up for it. But you've got to go in this warm-up session, and you can't be carrying all that over into this session.
Yeah, there's a lot of bitterness at the moment in the server and in the chat. Let's say people are not very happy with what happened in race 1. And one of the men is Keeney, who's voicing his concerns at the fact that the race wasn't restarted. I could side with him on that because I've been in positions before. I've been taken out from a good position, and through no fault of my own, you feel like everyone's against you, sort of thing. But from another perspective, if we'd have restarted, the same thing might have happened again. We just can't restart, can't keep restarting all night. And at the end of the day, it's up to the admin what we do. So we just got to respect the admin's decision in some respects. I kind of wish it'd been restarted, but I also wish it'd been dry because I don't think we've had as many accidents in the first place.
Yeah, the thing is as well, I mean, the more restarts we do, the more agitated the guys at the front of the field are going to get. You know, people, for instance, say that race got restarted, the same happened again. You know, we could see that restart 3, maybe 4 times. That's not going to do much in terms of morale and mentality for the guys like Oscar, who started right in the front of the field and want to get themselves clean and away from all the carnage, because every time they achieve it, they've got to go back and try it again. So it's a kind of double-edged sword, and you can see where both parties are coming from. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the overall decision of our race admin that stands, and I guess the drivers are going to kind of respect that, move on, and try and do what's best in terms of what's given to them. So 4 minutes of this warm-up session left, or 4 minutes 54, and Herm's just looking quick at the moment on a 1:21.677. Not so many cars out on track that we expected. I'm sure you expected to see a lot more back in there, but we do have that big field again, so maybe 48, 49 drivers will take to the grid for this second race this evening. And I mean, you know, do you reckon there'll be a different one to what we saw last time? Will there be a lot more cautious driving, if you will?
Well, you'd think so by now. This is now this is race 6 of this year, and it's only round 3, but race 6 as such. And I don't know, the last start was okay. It was just in the middle. It was going to happen with 50 cars, and there's a few people discussing the fact that the R Factory just can't handle that many cars. You see Coriolis and Khan coming together there. That was a bit bad by Khan there. But yeah, I just don't think he can handle as many cars in some respects, so I think they're having some issues. And I don't know, it's affecting some people. Like Jeremy Allen, for example, was going very well, and he got taken out of the race for no reason of his own. He's crashed a desktop or something, which isn't his fault. But yeah, hopefully the guys that have raced have learnt from the mistakes that have race 1, and we won't see an accident. We will see an accident because it always happens, but hopefully it won't.
Yeah, so fingers crossed, and I'm sure all the drivers will be carrying that same mentality as well. You've got to be in it to win it at the end of the day. And with a field this big, if they can make it through that first corner, then we're going to see one blindingly exciting race. So 3 minutes left in the session. Coriolis, the fastest man on the circuit. Take a look at him now. 1:20.249. Hardwick still there, retaining that pace despite being a bit of low confidence, not expecting to be at the front of the field. Very humbled when we interviewed him, which was always a pleasure. Very nice man indeed. So, you know, he's up there now looking very strong. Are we going to see him perhaps take a surprise victory here? You know, he's starting 17th. Is it doable, do you think, from that far back?
Well, if he keeps it clean in turn 1, it depends on what the rate. I mean, we don't know what the track's going to be like when we go to the next session. I really hope it's dry. I just want to see a dry race now, you know what I mean? It's I know I keep going on about it as such, but I just want to see a dry race and have, you know, it might be boring. It might be the most boring race ever in GPVWC, but I just want to see what it's like, because I don't think we've seen one this year so far. So, even the ones that have been dry, it's rained slightly, like last race and so on. So, but yeah, it depends what happens in turn 1 with the weather. If it's wet, all the leaders might charge into turn 1. You know, the guys who wouldn't expect to be in turn 1 in first position will try and get there first, or try and get away, and they might make a mistake, and Oscar could just cruise through and end up with a great result. A bit like we've seen Niemann do in the last few races.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder as well, you know, are we going to see potentially a new threat to the championship with the Backmarker Brigade now after that victory? Do you think they'll maybe start to consider themselves more of a mid-pack to front-pack brigade?
Depends if they can get the consistency going. Obviously, at the moment, Gaxel's retaking the lead from Nyman, and Gilmore's still being 3rd in the championship. I think McNaughton's now moved up to 4th in the championship, and so on. The two leaders, though, Nyman and Gaxel, really are making their own championship in some respects in the points table, but it's not too late in the championship. It's only round 3. If Oscar can start stringing some results together, and the two guys who are leading it at the moment have a few DNFs, he's right back in it. So the thing is to be consistent now, is to just keep getting the top 3 results. Like in these reverse grid races, he's got to be the man that gets through and gets the top result, whereas Gaxeller and Nyman might have a struggle.
Yeah, you know, especially after the last race as well, it was sort of like anything you can do, I can do better sort of scenario, so they'll be both looking to try and get one over on each other. The gap going into this race was 1 point. I won't be surprised if we leave this track and it's almost a sort of the same sort of gap between them, because they finish right behind each other this race and they start near each other this race, and they're both going to be looking to achieve the same objective. They both want to win. We've seen it before. Both of these guys have taken victories here this season, and they both want to try and finish as high as they possibly can to extend their championship lead. But then you've got to look at guys like Ryan Gilmore as well. Again, Gilmore clenching the top 5, sits third in this championship, and another good result for him. So he's starting to pull away from the rest of the field going into this one. He had already, I think it was a 26-point lead over Hoekstra. So he's just looking to expand on that, maintain his third position. His nearest contender was Adrian McNaughton, who's in 5th position, and he can only achieve a top 10 finish just rounding out the top 10. So it's looking very comfortable for Ryan Gilmore and Simming as well.
They get, so apologies for that. They're getting some consistent results now every week, so good to see as well, because they're both quick guys, especially now they've got I've completely forgotten his name, I do apologise. Yeah, especially now they've got the second simming driver in the team, David Fiddick. He's come back, he's very quick, he was very quick last year, and he's showing well so far in round 1. Obviously the drive-through, I believe it was a drive-through, didn't help him, but he still finished up there, was it 6th position eventually, so he could be one to watch this race as well, because he'll be higher up the grid, if you know what I mean, on reverse. He'll be, what, 9th on the grid, so he could be one to watch.
You can see behind the dime moments there as well, that was Mike Bell just getting himself just outside the top 10 there in P11. You take a look at Williams, let's see what he can do then. He's, well, miles on the pace in terms of the lap time, but he's coming across the line anyway. There you can see Clont there, just only 4 tenths away as you come towards the end of this warm-up session, and I believe it's switching anyway, so he won't be able to complete the lap. So, another 18 laps of action about to commence here around this infamous circuit, so prestigious in the races that it's held in the past, often a driver favourite due to its non-technicalities, but still maintaining that competitive edge. It's going to have everything a driver needs to make a successful racer. It's got those fast sweeping corners which can catch you out, it's got those tight braking points, and that all important, very fast turn 1. So we'll have to wait and see how the field get their way around this one, but a very different top 15, as we said. It's a top 15 reverse grid here, so this means that it's going to be very crucial for those guys to get a good start, potentially, if they're not the fastest guys out there. So they want to try and break away from the pack as quickly as they possibly can.
Yep, so Chris Williamson leads us away from Mike Scroton, Danny Asprey, Menno Clont, Matt Clip, Thomas Jacobs, Adrian McNaughton, Martin Palm, Dave Van Gils and David Fiddick round out the top 10. Sorry, he starts 10th, Fiddick, not 9th, I was incorrect. Brian Gilmore 11th, Kevin Westphal, Ari Nyman, Emmanuel Gaxella, Oscar Hardwick, that's 15th. 16th, Calvin Hermsay, Riku Sarpillage, Paul Joseph, Simon Smith, John McLean, that's 20th. Tim Oliver Wagner, Alex Rolls, Matt Webb, Alejandro Fernandez, Ollie Woods, Jonathan Prevost, Mike Bell, Dave Simmons, Lewis Vedekand, Ed Williams, that's the top 30. Keeney starts 31st there, we see him actually on the grid this time. Lee Palmer, Scott Sovic, Chris Parr, Wupke Hoekstra, Nadia Khan, Mikko Yakin, William Neron, Thomas Coriala, Simon Mellowish, and rounding out the final few positions, that's Franz Schneider, Sven Schubert and Jan Schwitter. The guys this time getting to take part in the race. Unfortunately, once again, Jeremy Allen has had an issue, so he won't be starting the race, but at least we've got a few more guys, and the track to me does look pretty bone dry, I believe, so we might get a full dry race for once. This will be very interesting to see what happens.
So Santa may have been good to lead this year, as you can see, a dry track. Williamson will be hoping for that as well. You really want the driest getaway possible. We saw last race, we saw that white line, well not white line, I beg your pardon, wet line in turn 1, seeing a few drivers, including race winner Hardwick, run wide on, due to just maybe not expecting it, but hopefully this race is completely dry. They can just get themselves away and assorted, and hopefully we can still have a lot of cars in this one, as opposed to having half the field unfortunately leaving the race after a massive turn 1 pile-up, and that is just one of the many features as to what makes this series and this circuit so great to watch. So Williamson lines up there. You got Asprey in 3rd position. Asprey really impressed me in the first race, finishing in P13. He now starts in 3rd on the grid, so we're really looking to try and expand, get some big points for the team here, but no more so than Williamson's. We'll see what he can do. They can see Matt Clip just behind him, a couple of rows back as well, as the field snake around the final corner. 46 cars start this race, it's slightly less than we first anticipated. We were aiming for 49, but 46 return to the circuit for race 2, and we get ready to go green flag racing once again here at the what was called the A1 ring.
Yeah, the reason I switched to Schwitter there, you're watching at the back, look where he was on the track where the leaders were still on the grid, so it's a long wait for the leaders, and you can see now they're just about getting in position, so we'll switch back to 1st position, Liam. The lights are about to come on.
So here comes Williamson then, the eyes set on the prize. They all want to come away with that victory, gets the massive points of the championship. We've got 2 red lights, 3, 4, the eyes are fixed, the blood pressure's rising, and we're away once again in Austria. A great start by Williams, even a big skid mark there as the rest of the field plough down in towards that first corner. Asbury looking to try and seal his position as well. Here we go then, hopefully get a much cleaner run. Now he's gone wide. Both of them gone very wide there. That surrenders the lead, and he's surrendered, well, 3, maybe 4 positions there. He's down to 4th place already.
Yeah, big crash in the background. I'm not quite sure who was off there. Scroton's apparently out of the race. I'm not quite sure why it's showing that. I do apologise. But there, that's our current leader, which is Mike Scroton. But up the inside comes Jacobs. There's going to be contact in turn 2. And there's going to be contact further back because there's a whole gaggle of cars trying to come up into turn 2. Scroton racing for the lead with Jacobs there. Clont in 3rd from Gaxella, who's up to 4th already.
Let's see what Jacobs can do then. He's hungry for that victory, trying to round the outside of Scroton right now. He can't quite go. He's made contact again. He's gone wide. He's going to lose positions there. He's now down to P4, just as we saw a couple moments ago. This is now going to allow potentially Danny Asbury to have a look. No, he can't. That's McNaughton maybe there, pushing his way forward. So already it's a much cleaner start there from what we saw in the race 1. So
that's Gaxella in second. That's Gaxella in second. Sorry, Liam. Gaxella up to second there. He tried to challenge for the lead there. Didn't quite work out.
So already when we said that it's possible for drivers a bit further back down the field to get themselves up there, Gaxella must have started around P14, P13. He's already got himself up to P2, so a rocket start there. Well, new championship leader really looking to continue his dominance, and this is where we said he shined earlier on, Lee. We said he shined in these second races. He's really looking to continue that here today.
Yep, Scroton locks up into turn 1. That's going to let Gaxella through for sure, and he does take the lead.
And now Jacobs may also punish him for it, trying to look around the outside. Off turn 2 is such a risky move this one as well. You've got to be so confident in the car and your own abilities. He's got pressure as well. From that in P5, he's trying to go right round the outside, and he just about made a stick. And what's happened to Gaxella there? Is he still in P1 or is that
Nothing, it's just these stupid cameras not working again.
Okay. There you can see so that almighty battle now as Jacobs holds on to P2. Scroton there just behind as well, and a massive gaggle of cars. Matt Cliff has dropped back significantly as well, but still nice to see we've still got over 40 cars there. Govan Keeney right at the back of the field, so he has not had the strongest starts in the world. He's going to try and continue that though. Here we go then, they're side by side once again. Jacobs still round the outside trying to cling on for dear life and not get hung out to dry. He may have made it stick, a bold defensive manoeuvre there to hold on. That's Clont, I beg your pardon. Here comes Jacobs trying to still hold it on. Clont up the inside now, and he can't quite do it. Jacobs is holding that outside line fantastically so far. He's favoured that in terms of defending, he's favoured it in attacking. It's looking well when it's earned in that second position. Matt Cliff also coming under fire there, just a bit further down the field in P6, and that's from Van Giel. And they're going to enter turn 1 very shortly. Cliff holds on round the outside once again. You still take a look there at Jacobs and company. Now take a look at Ryan Gilmore sitting P7 at the moment, again trying to hold on. It's great to see a much more fiery up race compared to what we saw just a few moments ago. And now it's Palm trying to get his way past up the inside of very almost messy there. Matt Cliff's trying to hold on for dear life. He's getting swarmed by every aspect here. Gilmore's going to use a bit of a push here for Palm. He's now switched over to the opposite slipstream, trying to push Matt Cliff past. They can't go through right there, surely. Gilmore goes through the middle. Oh my goodness me, what a move that was. He's taking both cars in one corner, straight through the middle, utter confidence in that simming machine, and now it's just a move of pure beauty.
Yeah, just to point out, Neiman is down in 36th position.
Wow, so that is really going to aid Gaxella. He's pushed his way through the field from one extreme to the other, and that could be a result which could very well affect the outcome of this championship. When you take a look at Gilmore there, still holding off Palm at the moment. Matt Cliff down to 8th after an ecstatic move there from Ryan Gilmore. He now sets his sights even higher in that Civic machine. He tries to push his way in towards that top 5. He's currently there in P6. Scroton's the next man on his hit list. Let's see what he can do. He's already reeling him in as the top 10 cross the start-finish line. That's almost a 5-way battle there for the final top 5 position. But Gilmore is looking to have raw pace in this opening stint. When he looked to the outside, Scroton immediately going defensive. Gilmore's carrying so much more speed in that Civic machine. Goes round the outside, and it's a spin there, he's hit it! And it's a big spin there by Scroton. There's surely going to be contact, so many cars trying to sweep on and avoid him. And that was very almost a messy incident. Most of the guys managing to avoid it, but Gilmore is on a relentless charge through the field right now.
Yep, up to P6, just behind Martin Palm now. Jacobs has gone into the second position from Clont. In fact, sorry, he's still defending from Clont in third position.
And there you can see just the onboard view there from Jacobs' rear wing and just how much pressure he's coming under. They're encountering back markers already. And I believe that may have been Gavin Keeney down in P39. They're trying to get their way through. That's P37, I beg your pardon. But for now, Jacobs 2.7 tenths in front of Clont as they cross that sector line. Clont looking very comfortable in P3 at the moment, just maybe trying to intimidate Jacobs. It's not about just trying to get that move done. It's very difficult to overtake here. Just throw those body punches I often refer them to as just start making little dives, throw your opponent off guard, and then go for the knockout when you know you can make it stick. This could be the one to end the fight then. On the inside of turn 1, he may have cut the corner a little bit. He may have to give that one back. I'm not too sure how much apex he took. He did indeed slot back behind. This may leave him vulnerable though to Danny Asprey, who's charging round the outside. Ever impressive. He's going to push now Jacobs to try and push his way through, but he couldn't quite get it done. Jacobs surely going to swoosh around the outside to hold that one. He does indeed, and maintain this position once again.
Yeah, Gilmore and Fiddick, the two of his simming cars now. Oh no, something's happened to Fiddick actually. He's just lost a position to McNaughton there. They were 6th and 7th just behind. Looking through the field, Neiman's made no progress whatsoever really. He's up to 31st. Keeney's way down in 34th position. And there was another point I was going to make out as well, but I can't find out where it was. Oscar, our first race winner, sorry, he's down in 23rd position.
So after starting 17th on the grid, as you said, he was approaching a bit cautious, just making sure he brings the car home. But after a win, even if he doesn't finish his race, I'm sure the team will still be celebrating very hard tonight. But for now, they're going to try and push themselves back as hard as they can through that field once it all settles down.
Yeah, Fiddick's just spun in 11th position. Well, he was in 7th position. He's spun, he's down to 12th. So he's struggling in the second race once again. Another mistake from Fiddick cost him dear.
Across the line for another lap and just still 2 tenths separate Jacobs from Clont at the moment. And now this is going to get interesting because you can see Palm there as well, Asprey's there, Gilmore's there, so he's got a massive train of cars. Jacobs almost making his own little train here. They were trying to follow him, take that second position. Now whilst he's going slowly, there goes Palm trying to overtake actually now, pushing right alongside, trying to push his way past Clont. I'm not sure if that's going to work, going round the outside, he doesn't indeed. But that's interesting, Asprey slid right back behind Gilmore. We said Gilmore's on a charge, here he comes again. He's going to try a ride up the inside now of Clont. He may again take 2 cars into that corner, that's where he achieved it last time. He's going to go for it, it's very late braking, he takes 1. He's going to settle for 1 there, but nonetheless, Gilmore has been on the charge of a century this afternoon. He's already rocketed himself into the top 5. He's now pushing for a potential podium position off Palm. So let's see what he can do from here. Jacobs still trying to inherit that second position, but for how much longer? A big lock up there though by Ryan Gilmore.
Yeah, he was very lucky in turn 2 not to lose his front wing, Gilmore. He got very late on the brakes and nearly went straight up the back of the guys in front of him. But he controlled it well, went around the outside of the guy actually in turn 2, and then turn 3 tried to take 2 cars. He's going to be into second position very soon if he doesn't have an accident with these guys, because he's got the superior pace, because these guys are now 9.6 seconds behind Gaxella.
Gaxella really showing some signs of dominance, isn't he? He's in the lead in this race, as you said, almost 10 seconds away. Oh, and it's a big spin now. That is Gilmore. Gilmore's off. We may have put a commentator's chaos on him. He's spun at turn 1, and hopefully he's going to get that car going again, but that is going to do some substantial damage to his race.
Yep, he's fallen back through the field now. He's in 6th position under pressure from Westphal. We'll keep an eye on this second position battle. Fiddick coming back through to 9th position. One man who did lose out in the accident we saw earlier was Schubert. He lost his front wing. He's still in 8th position, doing reasonable lap times actually, considering his front wing's missing. He's only lapping 2 seconds off the leaders, but he's going slowly backwards through the field. And Gaxella leading this race. If he wins, this is a big championship moment already in this early in the season, because his main championship rival Niemanen is 29th.
So he's really looking strong right now. It's going to be say Gaxella. Does not look he's going to be too contented. Of course, he won last time out in Malaysia. He also won back in Australia as well, I believe. So he's looking very strong right now. And as we said, it could be even for his 3rd victory here today. We've got 12 laps to go, so it's still not all set in stone on that over until that checkered flag flies. And there, we've got a very slow moving. I believe that's Jacobs.
It is indeed. Jacobs just spins there. I believe we weren't both watching that there. Jacobs spins, that puts him down to 7th position, unfortunately. So Martin Palm takes up this gaggle of cars for 2nd position. And Gilmore's only in 5th, and he's only 3 seconds behind this actually again, so he's got some serious pace.
Yeah, indeed he does. 11 laps to go. Palm now inherits that 2nd position. Thank you very much this will be interesting then. We saw how much Jacob was holding up that trio of cars. Now Palmer's in clean air. I wonder how much he can pull away. He's already got himself a 1.5 second gap to clog. But to be fair, he's battling very hard with Danny Asprey at the moment, who both of those have gone slightly wide. Well, Danny Asprey's gone very wide there. And he's hit the barrier.
No, that's a back marker. That's a back marker. Westphal spun. That was a back marker there. That was, I'm not quite sure what that was. It wasn't our leaders. It was Mike Bell, I believe, who got up in the air there.
So Mike Bell, unfortunately, suffering some major damage to the front of his car. But let's see what the rest of the guys can do. Gilmore now recovering. Effectively, another simming drive to recovery, almost a mirror of what we saw from Fiddick earlier on. Scroton's there, currently P8 at the moment, so slipped down the field dramatically after a good start. He's now again coming under pressure, and I wonder just how much he can hold on. Gagzella, now we saw Oscar Hardwick's fastest lap at 1:19.9, a 1:19.6 from our new championship leader. Gagzella is looking in dominant fashion here today.
Yeah, Oscar's up to 16th, but he's got no front wing, so he's going to struggle to improve from there as Scroton gets very close to the back of Schubert, who hasn't got a front wing either, and he's up in 7th position. He's about to get... He's got the superior straight line speed, you see, that's why he's defending well. He's got the straight line speed because he's got no front aero package, so still holding in 7th position. I don't think he'll stay there till the end of the race, though.
Only time will tell, but right now it's not looking too bad, although there is a nasty trio of cars just all waiting to pounce on him on a very mistake. So let's see what Schroeder can do from here. Is he going to go for a move? No, he's not. He's going to try and hold it. You've got Van Giel just behind. The best thing to do now is to try and bide your time. If you do go for a move, which you don't really need to go for, and it doesn't pay off, then you're going to find yourself losing valuable time, maybe even a position to Van Gils, and that is one thing you don't want to do. We saw how aggressive Van Gils was in terms of defending last time. That was spectacular to watch. Really did have that defensive drive nailed, and in turn earned his respective position.
Yeah, Fiddick spun again earlier actually. I saw him spin twice, lost further time. He's now 27 seconds off the lead. 7 seconds off his teammate who's in 5th position. Fiddick in 11th. Gaxella leads by 12.8 seconds, so he's pretty much got his race sewn up now, unless anything drastic happens to him. But I can't, he's a very mature driver, so I can't see him losing out too much.
Yeah, so this race seeming to take a bad toll there for Fiddick. That's a lot of mistakes he's made this weekend, and to Austria hasn't been too kind to him. How calm will it be to Stroton? And he's still struggling though, isn't he, to get past Schubert right now. They're going to cross the line one more time, and he really is struggling to get past. He's going to be careful, as you said. Van Gils is there just waiting for that mistake to come. You now take a look at Ryan Gilmore, who's inheriting that P5 at the moment, trying to look still on Asprey. These guys have been hammering Tom for quite some time. Looks up the inside, he may have broken a bit late there, so holds the inside line, and the perfect onboard view for that manoeuvre. And Asprey was just as speechless, said there wasn't much he could do.
Yeah, great job there from Gilmore. It was very late on the brakes. He decided to go for it, and it worked out. And now he's got 2 seconds to Clont, and then a further 2 seconds after that to Palm. So still a possible second position for Gilmore, which would be a good result actually for this, because he's driven very well in this race so far, apart from the mistake we saw earlier.
Yeah, and a man who going into this round was 3rd place in the championship, still had a relatively strong one in the first race as well. So obviously into the second race, another consistent run. Could well be getting some valuable points on Niemann, who unfortunately has not done a very good job at all. He's not finished this race, and now you take a look back at Manuel Gector, who's just done the fastest lap of the race, so another 1:19.1, so he's flying at the moment, completely unmatched. Overall on lap 10 of 18 here at Austria. If you've generally just joined us, where have you been? We've seen everything that a spectator could want, thrills, spills and everything in between. But now you take a look back again, that battle between Scroton, who's still trying to get past Schubert, and very interestingly, whilst he doesn't have a front wing, he's not showing too much chance of letting up, is he? He's still running very good pace.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how he's doing that actually. It's pretty impressive. As you see, Joseph trying to defend from Franz Schneider into turn 1. Franz looks on the inside, decides better of it, but now he's going to watch his mirrors, because behind him is Adrian McNaughton, who's going to get a run on him. Not too close though. But yeah, I'm not quite sure how Schubert's doing that, because he's now actually catching Jacobs for 6th position, so very impressive from Sven Schubert with no front wing there. As you see, Hoekstra and Joseph battling. Hoekstra trying to get past, in fact that was Joseph actually making him move up to 11th position, so some progression there on screen.
And Hoekstra going into this one was looking very strong in the championship. They want some big points, and then you take a look once again at the Danny Asprey battle. He's not giving up, and whilst he's still behind Gilmore, he will not let off him. Now, I've seen Danny Asprey race in many series, mainly the touring car series, and he's always very strong there, very competitive in things like the virtual V8s. He comes into these open wheelers and looks even stronger still, trying to attack Ryan Gilmore here today. He's just set in P5 at the moment, so a very good job, but he really wants that P4. But it's got to be said though, I've said this from the start, Gilmore has done an exceptional job of pushing through the field. He's spun out, he's got back into the race again, and still up in P4.
Yeah, Scroton in 8th position. He got balked by Schubert in the previous 2 corners. That's given Van Gils and Fiddick. Fiddick's trying to take 2 cars in one go into turn 1. Can he do it? No, he pulls back in, decides better of it. And Scroton holds his position but loses the position to Gills as well at the same time. Now Fiddick's going to get an awesome tow. You can see him in the background there. Will he try and take 2 cars in one manoeuvre up into turn 3? He's got the perfect slipstream. Will he go to the inside? He's looking for it. No, he isn't in the room. He pulls back to the outside to get the better traction off the corner. That works very well because look at that, he's gone straight around the outside of Scroton. So very clever driving there from Fiddick.
Indeed, so both Simming drivers seem to craft these overtakes very well. So I'm not sure if Gilmore and Fiddick have been coaching overtaking at all, but they've been looking very, very nice and very clean out there in terms of overtaking. Maybe pushing a bit too hard at times, but nonetheless, they've really made a masterclass of overtaking today. They can see him once again in that Simi going right round the outside now, and again another textbook manoeuvre. Simic have just, between the 2 guys there, they must have at least overtaken half the field today. Have done a spectacular job. Now take a look at Schroeder, he fancies a bit of the action here. Let's see what he can do. He's going around the outside, he's going to try for it. He doesn't quite have the top speed to take Van Gils just yet. Now switches to the inside line. Again, thinks, no, not quite yet. Going down the hill so hard to get it right, especially when you lose traction. But he's gone up the inside there, the final corner has a very tricky place to overtake. He's going to lose a bit of speed now as Van Gils is going to get a much better run out the final corner. It's a drag race. You take a look from the onboard view of Fiddick at the moment. They're coming towards turn 1. Scroton just holds the inside line very nicely there. So, job done there for Scroton, and a position lost once again for Van Gils. He's now down to P10. Stubert's still holding P7 though.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Fiddick got up behind him a minute ago, tried to move, and he defended, and now he's still in 7th position. Scroton comes back up the inside of Gills. Gills retakes him on the exit, and 2 battling pretty hard in the background, you can see that. And they're still not far behind Jacobs and Asprey, actually. Asprey's fallen back quite a lot from Gilmore now, actually, and he's fallen into the clutches of Thomas Jacobs for 5th position. So a possible battle there upcoming as well. Gilmore now, can he catch Clont? He's 4 seconds behind, but you see, look at how fast Fiddick is through the corners compared to Schubert without the front wing. Schubert could be right up there in this race, and Fiddick's gone through. A very decisive manoeuvre. Schubert ran wide, Fiddick took advantage, so that's that battle done. That's what Scroton needed to do earlier.
Yeah, indeed it was, but nonetheless a very respectable drive there by Schubert. And you know, it's a very easy choice to make, you know, for a driver. You get a bit scared, you don't want to wreck a race, you know, you've got to be in it to win it, as the saying goes. But he hasn't pitted in, he's kind of trying to travel through the pain, make sure that car stays in track, and in turn, he's actually in a very good position, because if he pitted from where he was at that stage in the race, he would have been well outside the top 20, but now he's holding his ground in 8th position, so some big points coming for the team. Van Gils is in 9th, so he could maybe drop outside the top 10. But I just noticed down the standings last time round where Niemann and Oscar Hardwick are.
Yeah, 23rd and 24th, and actually they're battling together, so we'll go watch this now. You can see Hardwick down the inside, Niemann trying to defend. In fact, this is very strange, Niemann losing pace like that. He's not been very quick in this race, despite the fact that he's well on the field and perhaps lost some motivation. That's another position lost, and he's not currently in the points, and his main championship rival is going to get the whole heap of first place points.
As well, the man who's currently 3rd, Ryan Gilmore, as well. There's a car off there that looks like it may have been Asbury's teammate. Hopefully he's got back on the circuit okay, and luckily didn't invade these guys' battle at the moment. Oscar Hardwick still currently leading this battle between himself and previous championship leader Ari Niemann, who hasn't been his strongest this weekend, so maybe a bit of an off week for him. We're looking to be much stronger in the 4th round of the championship, but 4 laps to go. He really wants to try and take that position from Oscar Hardwick.
Yeah, it's pretty static up front at the moment, apart from the usual battle between Gills and Scroton. Scroton goes on the inside into the final 2 corners. That's very brave. Slight bit of contact there with the front wing of Van Gils. Gets away with it though. And we go back onto the main straight again. I'm sure Van Gils will respond.
They need to across the line. They come once again. 4 laps to go for them now. 9th and 10th at the moment. And you can see there the 2 SCHs, Scroton and Schubert. He's looking very close between those 2. Van Gils just there at the moment. And you've got Adrian McNaughton again. I mean, he was just outside the top 10 last time out. Actually, just inside the top 10. He took 10th position. And again, he's achieved that this race. So, Adrian McNaughton, while he may not be one of the outright title contenders, he's looking very strong, very consistent, getting those top 10s perhaps.
Yeah, he's just behind Schneider, who's further 2 seconds behind this battle. What we're watching on screen now is Van Gils. This is the closest battle in the top 10 at the moment. Van Gils trying down the outside. Scroton defends the inside well and blocks the corner. Very good driving there from Scroton. Gilmore hasn't got the pace, it looks, to get actually up to the podium. Clont and Palm are both doing good jobs, so good lap times. Clont's lost a bit in this lap behind the back marker, but it's nothing significant, so the podium looks set without mistakes.
Indeed, so far so touchful. We don't want to put a commentator's chaos on it, but here we go then, right back. Now, here we go, Scroton, Van Gils, we've been watching this for quite some time. Van Gils on the inside of Scroton, he breaks very late, swoops that round. Beautiful defensive manoeuvre, that is how you do it. Leaving Van Gils pretty much speechless there, not too sure where to go. So he had the perfect opportunity to do it, but Scroton's so much more confident on the brakes going in towards that penultimate corner. Into turn 1 they come once again, and he just can't quite get close enough. You know, this sort of stage in the race now where tensions rise, almost like a desperation mode sets in. You want to try and get that position done. Of course, these are valuable points when you look at the standings. You want to try and get yourself as high up as possible, and you just don't want to risk too much. It's always that dilemma. Do you risk it all? Do you try and stay committed to your current position? You now take a look at Fiddick trying to hold his 6th position currently.
Yeah, he's just taken Jacobs into turn 2. Jacobs with a good slipstream tries to come back at him but doesn't work out, so that's Fiddick up to 6th position now. Good recovery drive from him. Only 6 seconds behind his teammate now, so them two very even. And Scroton spun in, he's now down to 12th position, but he's spun, and Schneider goes up to 9th, so there's been contact between Van Gils and Scroton. Scroton's now down to 14th position, Van Gils down to 11th, Schneider moves into the top 10, and your man Adrian McNaughton into 10th.
So that'll be 2 top 10s in a row for McNaughton, but Simic again impressing me here today. In terms of the championship standings here, they're looking very strong as a team. We said they're easy there. I mean, they're in 2nd at the moment. They're 30 points currently going into this behind Storm. So 2 potential top 5s for them today. And it's looking like you never know what's going to happen on the cards. They're only a second apart now, Fiddick and Asbury. So Asbury's lost one Simic Motorsports guy. He's now got to deal with another. And for a top 5 as well. But Simic just getting that consistency there. That's what we're talking about. Here's Simon Melowish then. So Melowish, after we didn't see him do too well in the race one, I don't think he got racing at all. He got taken out in the first race. So to see him now up there fighting for that 14th position is very encouraging for him.
Yep, this is Fiddick trying to get a run on Asprey for 5th position, and it's happened. He's got the run. Will Asprey feel the need to go to the inside to defend? We saw Asprey with great top line speed earlier, and he's got the same sort of speed. Fiddick decides not to look down the inside, trying to get the traction off the corner. It's going to work. He's got the drive, and he takes the position. Great driving from Fiddick. He's really setting his car up well for the exit of the corners.
Oh, absolutely, and both Simming drivers seeming to have that luxury as well. They're, in terms of overtaking, they've just got so much more downforce coming out of the corners, and Asbury left for dust, unfortunately, just pipped of a top 5 position. We now take a look back to this Van Gils battle and McNaughton. So Van Gils actually retaken that 10th position. McNaughton now just outside the top 10 going in towards his final lap and a half or so. So this is it then. How much has McNaughton got left in the tank? Can he muster enough momentum to fight back? He's only 3/10 away, but it's, you know, catching's one thing, passing is another, as the saying was once infamously said. But here you take a look at Gaxella coming in towards the final sector of this circuit. 22 seconds between himself and Palm. Palm has also driven a very successful race here this afternoon. Again, pretty much unscathed there in 2nd place, in front of Clont in 3rd. But credit to this man. He's done an exceptional job in race 1. This will be his potential 3rd victory this season. And we're only in the 3rd round, so of course 2 races per round. That's a winner round. And Gaxella just really looking to stamp his authority all over this championship.
Yep, Schubert defending from Schneider. Schneider's trying to go on the outside. This is the last battle. I'll quickly switch back to Gaxella. That's the only other battle on track. Gaxella coming around the final corner there.
So he's done it again. A fantastic result for Gaxella. He's fought through the field in race 2, which he's so infamous for doing, and it's rewarded him well. It's a win in the 2nd race here at Austria. He'll be ecstatic with that. He's taken the championship lead from the not finishing Nieminen, which is going to aid him very nicely. We now take a look back to this battle, which is still raging on. Really wait for the field to come through. It's now on every car quite. Make it go round the outside. But how many corners has he got left? They're slowly fading away, corner by corner, chance by chance. And it's looking like, beg your pardon, Adrian McNaughton may be able to hold this 10th position.
Something's happened to Clont in the final corner. Clont, who was third position, something's happened to him. I think he's spun into the pit lane because Gilmore's gone through in third position. Clont's taken fourth in the pit lane. And as you see, Schubert loses that position. Schneider takes seventh in the background. McNaughton very close with Van Gils there, and he takes the ninth position. Van Gils 10th.
Now the rest of the field then crossing the start finish line. There you can see official confirmation of your results today. So the race is officially over as the cars cross the line. But what an exciting weekend that was. We got a totally dry race lead, which is what you so desperately hoped for. And how are you delivering your expectations? Was it everything you wanted to see? This is a replay of Clont. I want to see. Oh, look at this. This is Clont on board with Clont. Someone spins in front. And it takes him out into the pit lane. Look at that. So that's what happened in the final call. That's how Gilmore got the podium. That's a replay, obviously, of what just happened. And that was a huge impact there, actually. Clont did well to finish the race. And there's Gilmore going through into third position. So very unlucky there for Clont. Yeah, absolutely. You won't be too happy with that one at all. But as you said, a completely dry race today. We did get one clear indicator from this race as to who's quick, and that man is your race winner, Gagzella. He's done it again and has taken an almighty lead in his championship now. Going into it, he's already got himself 75 points, and that is already effectively going to be adding at least another 40 or so. So it's done a tremendous job this afternoon. So Lee, second race has just happened. Overall, are there any drivers from this race weekend that have stood out to you in terms of consistency and just overall performance? Well, the two Simic guys were the most impressive, I think, in the races. They were the most willing to go for some overtaking manoeuvres and provided a lot of entertainment for us, which was we're very grateful for, obviously. And I'm just looking, actually, there's Fiddick's already left the server, sorry. But yeah, the two Simic guys were very impressive to watch, and obviously Gaxella very consistent, especially the second race. He stormed through the field to take lead and deserves that. He deserves to take the championship lead with that race. Yeah, he didn't. Again, I think I have to try and agree with you there, because those Simic drivers just impressed me so much, especially in that second race. They were just making overtakes here, there and everywhere. Both of them made errors, in all fairness, but they recovered so well. It was like a heroic backdrive through the field. They really gave everything. Liam. They managed the car well. The car just looked so perfectly set up, but you could not take anything away from our two race winners, especially Gagzella, who started way down the order in P14 to get himself up into that victory. Was a tremendous result for himself and the team. Yeah, sorry Liam, just going to interrupt you there as well. Fiddick, where we mentioned it, I thought he dropped positions because he should have finished 5th. He actually finished 23rd because he ran out of fuel on the last lap. Wow. So really upsetting result there. I thought so. When Snyder was in 7th, I thought, who's got missed it? I couldn't quite work it out at the time. I was wondering where Fiddick had gone. I just thought he'd left the game, so his name had disappeared. But no, he finished way down in 23rd, ran out of fuel. Didn't see him on the last lap running out of fuel at the side of the track or anything, though, so he must have pulled off pretty quickly. Yeah, indeed. So I think that may... Are we going to get a few driver interviews today, Lee? I'm looking now. No one's come down so far. Usually we got a few last race, didn't we? So hopefully we'll get some this race. There's quite a few guys up there who we could possibly interview, but we'll get a few more minutes to see if they turn up. So we'll just give it a couple of minutes then before we try and get a couple of drivers' perspectives on this. But again, I'd love to hear your guys' perspectives on this one. So be sure to head over to gpvwc.com and sign up in the forums and leave us your feedback. Or even, just tweet us on Twitter. I mean, my Twitter is Liam J Sim Racing, and I'm sure Lee will give you his in just a moment time. But for now, we've actually got a couple of drivers to interview. So first up, I just want to quickly talk to possibly one of our drivers of the day, who is Ryan Gilmore. Now, Ryan, you had a very, very race as a team today, both yourself and Fiddick, but you both did tremendous jobs, and your overtaking skills were just fantastic. So just talk us through your weekend as a whole. I believe you may have a bit of a mic problem there. He's speechless. Okay, so we'll try and get Ryan to sort his out very quickly, and we'll come back to him, because that's one driver I really want to hear from. Another one is one driver who was battling with both Simming drivers very hard during the second race, and that is Mr. Danny Asbury. So Danny, a very good finish for you in the long run. Just how are you feeling after that?
Well, I mean, for my first race in these open wheel cars like this, I'm very happy about that. I got in a bit of a scuffle. I think it was with Ryan, because he went past me a few times. I had a few mistakes, but Yeah, I mean, overall, I can't really be too upset about that, considering I don't know what I'm doing with the setup, don't really know too much about how to drive these cars. So, hey, fifth, I'll take that every day.
I was going to say, obviously, very accomplished in the world of touring car racing. You know, used to drive in the Clios and the V8s and those, high torque, closed cockpits cars. Now, coming to these open cockpits, very light Formula Challenge cars. How's the transition been? Has it been easy to try and get yourself into a groove, or have you found it a bit difficult?
Well, I've only done, I think, a testing the past week, but the most difficult thing about these cars, and I guess it's more so the plug-in or whatever, it was the tire, the track temperature. I had a hard time getting the tires up to temp, and that was kind of, you didn't know what the car was going to do from lap to lap, and that was easily the most difficult thing to kind of adjust to.
Okay, and obviously looking forward, you've got the fourth round of the championship coming up soon. It's a very well-known track. It's the Hungaroring, so is that one you're familiar with?
I've only ever driven the Hungaroring once before. I think it was with WTCC cars on Race 07, but I love the track. I'm definitely looking forward to that round. Hopefully, maybe I can have a little bit more setup knowledge, and I can do, I think, challenge maybe the front runners a little better.
Okay, awesome. So thanks for your time, Danny. We'll let you go and celebrate your top 5, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing me on.
Okay, no problem at all. Now, one man I've really been intrigued to hear for since the event of Race 1 is team owner of Backmarker Brigade, Mr. Simon Smith. Now, Simon, Oscar took a victory in Race 1. Are you considering renaming your team?
Never. He's in a principal office straight after this. It's gracefulness.
How are your emotions after this weekend?
Well, yeah, for Tuesday, it's not so bad, actually. It's, interesting. It's my first race personally since 2010 for R Factor, so it was all big nerves, lots of shaking and drama llamas. Oscar's obviously met through commentary, so it was great to have him on board. He's the man that's got the setup sorted for me, and it was nice easing me gently into R Factor again. So no, it's been a pleasure and a privilege to be back on track with everyone and just enjoying being out there again instead of being on this side of the mic.
Yeah, I mean, I think Backmarker Brigade are one of the fan favourites, and they made that epic promo video a couple of years ago. Are we going to see a return of a promo video?
There will be. There is a launch video coming. It wasn't ready for this race, but it will be out for Easter. So I look forward to getting you all confused again.
Okay, well, thanks for your time, Simon. We'll let you go, and I'm sure you'll see a few alcoholic beverages after the events of Race 1. And we'll look forward to hearing from you and seeing you race again in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think we've got one final driver to interview here, who's Jonathan Prevost. Now, Jonathan, I mean, obviously, again, bit of a varied race there in the Formula Challenge, massive field. I mean, just talk us through your weekend.
Well, I didn't have a very good qualifying because I kept disconnecting from R Factor, but race 1 didn't go too well. I think I was the last of the finishers, but my front wing came off twice in both races. But this was my first R Factor race since about 2009, I think it was. And I haven't done much racing for the past year. I've been administrating races in Liverpool mostly, but
okay, so I mean, how is it coming back then? As you said, I mean, we've just heard from Danny a couple of moments ago. It's come from the world of like touring car racing, that sort of thing. That this one can be very tricky to get into a groove when you've got this new weather plug-in. The tyres very difficult. Did you experience any problems on your return to the sim racing community or GPVWC?
Well, I haven't ever raced in a league in Formula cars. I've only driven GTs and a catering once in R Factor, but no, I do like these cars. I do like single seaters, but they're quite a handful sometimes.
Okay, obviously looking forward. You got the Hungaroring in 2 weeks. Are you looking to try and take some progress over there?
Well, hopefully, I'm getting a bit better on making setups and that, but hopefully I'm going to start practicing tomorrow, so I'm going to get these set up as soon as I can.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time, Jonathan, and we'll look forward to seeing you race in a couple of weeks.
Thanks.
So hopefully, fingers crossed, if we've got these SAC issues solved, we've got Ryan Gilmore with us.
Hopefully.
There we go. So he's finally here. So Ryan, as we said, potential driver of the day for both of your guys here today at Simming. And you've done such a good job, you know, driving those recovery races, 2 massive finishes for you in terms of the points. What was your feelings coming out of that race?
Well, to be fair, it felt like I was driving a tank. I've not had the best of preparations, and last minute taking an ex-teammate's setup of Nadirs and just put it on. And it was a tank, but it was stable enough for me to drag it around the track.
I was going to say, mate, it felt like a tank, but it looked like such an elegant design. It really worked well for you out there today and made some fantastic overtaking manoeuvres. As a team, you know, again, I mean, you're currently going into this race sat very highly in the team standings. You're 2nd overall, obviously taking much better progress as well here today. Can you see yourself as perhaps title contenders in the team's constructors?
Certainly for the teams, it's nice to have finally a guy that will be sticking around for the rest of the season. I think I'm in the 3rd race, 3rd different teammate, but definitely I think we can do it.
Yeah, no, so debut for the team, and he really did impress. I mean, he did make a couple of incidents and spun out a couple of times, but again, drove back through the field, made some very positive finishes for you. So, looking ahead to the Hungaroring, you know, you're looking to try and continue that consistent form there?
It was the first race I've been looking to all season. If I can hook it up, then definitely that middle sector will be where I can make the time up. And I expect a lot more 4-wheel sliding passes.
Okay, brilliant. So, Lee, have you got any questions you want to ask Ryan? I'll take that one as a no. So, thank you very much, Ryan, for your time. And again, yeah, we'll see you in Hungary, and hopefully we'll see Simic fighting their way up towards the front of the field.
Definitely, and thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So I think that's just about everything from us today at the Austrian Grand Prix. But don't forget, we've still got plenty of action at GPVWC coming up. We've got the Super League and the Super Cup this week as well. So be sure to tune into those. Where, of course, we've got Simon Smith calling one of the races, the team owner of that Marker Brigade. So definitely going to be an interesting week, to say the least. So, Lee, have you got any final thoughts rounding out this week, race weekend?
Mainly for my race, I just hope it just goes better than the last few, let's say. Not in the best mood with sim racing at the moment, so apologies for my rather deflated commentary tonight.
That's okay, no problem. I'm sure the audience loved it. So, just about rounds out here from the Austrian Grand Prix in the Formula Challenge. It has been a pleasure to commentate this one. So, from myself, Liam Jenkins, and my co-commentator, Lee Morris, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all on April 9th at the Hungaroring. Take care, and goodbye for now.